Chapter 1898. Jian Shisan nodded. Yes, this bloodline suppression method seems to be condensed from the essence and blood of the Great Desolation Castle Lord, and then catalyzed by Hong Meng's spiritual power, so that it is deeply engraved in my body. In a sense, he can even control my mind. Damn it. When he heard Sword 13's description, even Long Chen couldn't help but start cursing, and he said, "What's the background of the fort master of this Great Desolation Castle, and what's his background in strength?" Jian Shisan sighed. The Great Desolation Castle Lord is called Shi Feng. He is a demonic beast that was expelled from the Dragon Lion clan hundreds of years ago. His strength is quite unfathomable. Now, he is probably at the 7th or 8th level of Hong Meng Tianjing. After all, it has been too long since I have seen him in action, so I can only describe his strength in this way. Long Chen expressed his understanding and then said, "It seems that we have to settle the score with Shi Feng." Jian Shisan's eyes flickered with light when he heard this, and he said, "I had this thought since a long time ago. However, due to the bloodline suppression curse that Shi Feng planted in my body, I was utterly unable to resist it, let alone escape. So, I've always stayed in the Great Desolation Fort and worked myself to death for it." Long Chen frowned and said, "I heard that there are 4 great generals in the Grand Desolation Fort. You're one of them, and Lang Ming was one as well. What are the other 2 and that vice-fort master of the rumors? What are their strengths? To tell you the truth, I've wasted 5 years in the star pool. Otherwise, my strength wouldn't be as slow as yours, Jinja." Jian Shisan hurriedly said, "Master, no one can think of the time rules in the star pool world. Moreover, with Master's ability, you will certainly be able to improve your cultivation in the Long Meng polar region. It is only a matter of time. If we're talking about the other people in the Great Desolation Fort, there are indeed a few who aren't easy to deal with other than Shi Feng. Tell me about it. We need a long-term plan." "We need a goal first," Long Chen said calmly. Jian Shisan exhaled a mouthful of turbid air and said, "Lang Ming, whom you've met, naturally doesn't count. That fellow is a bully who fears the strong and bullies the weak. In the Great Desolation Castle, he was polite and amiable to my face, but behind my back, he spoke ill of me a lot. It's just that I'm too lazy to pursue the matter with him. As for the other 2 war generals, one of them is a cultivator from the Dragon Leopard clan, a loyal follower of Shi Feng. The other one is a Hong Meng Tianjing expert from the Dragon Elephant clan. His situation is somewhat similar to mine. Both of us have been sealed by Shi Feng's bloodline suppression, so we have no choice but to serve him. Previously, I also had a discussion with him. We agreed that as long as we find a way to break the bloodline suppression, we will escape from the Great Desolation Castle. Since there's someone who can help us win over, the situation is not too bad." Long Chen nodded. Subsequently, Sword 13 continued. "As for those 2 vice-fort masters, they're indeed slightly difficult to deal with. The 2 vice-fort masters are figures in the Dragon Lion clan that are on good terms with Shi Feng, and their strengths aren't inferior to mine. Moreover, every single one of them possesses some trump cards, so it's extremely difficult to deal with them." "Is that so?" Long Chen frowned and said, "The 2 deputy fort masters and Shi Feng himself are 3 Hong Meng Tianjing experts, not to mention that we haven't counted Lang Ming and the cultivator from the Dragon Leopard clan. It seems that this will be a tough battle." "Not necessarily," Jian Shisan said resolutely and decisively. "What do you mean?" Long Chen was confused and could not understand Jian Shisan's words for a while. Jian Shisan slowly raised his head, and the sword chi around him fluctuated. In the blink of an eye, a long sword appeared in Jian Shisan's hand. "As long as the bloodline suppression mark on my body is removed, I am confident that I can defeat Shi Feng." Jian Shisan's eyes were sharp as he said firmly. Long Chen could see that Jian Shisan did not seem to be boasting. However, the fort master of the Great Desolation Castle, Shi Feng, was possibly an expert on the 8th floor of Hong Meng Tianjing, while Jian Shisan was only on the 5th floor of Hong Meng Tianjing. Why was Jian Shisan so confident? What was the long sword in Jian Shisan's hand? This sword? Long Chen looked at the long sword in Jian Shisan's hand and felt that the sword qi seemed to be a little explosive. Sword 13 said, "Master, didn't I tell you before that I was entangled with someone in the ancient battlefield of the small spirit world, and that's why I unintentionally touched some cave and was teleported to the Dragon Meng polar region?" Long Chen nodded. Jian Shisan had just said such a thing. Jian Shisan continued, "Master, did you know why I was entangled with that person? Could it be because of this sword?" Long Chen asked instead of answering. Jian Shisan nodded his head and said, "That's right, I obtained this sword from the ancient battlefield. However, after obtaining it, I was coveted by many people. I finally managed to escape from the entanglement of a group of people, but who knew that I would be provoked by a person who was similar to me and also used a sword. He forced me to hand over this sword, but I refused. Thus, the two of us started to fight like this, and what happened afterwards happened." Long Chen realized that this matter was a little unusual, so he asked, "Then what is in this sword?" Jian Shisan's face was calm and he said, "At first, I just felt that the sword qi on this long sword was biting cold and was enough for me to control, so I put it away. As for the true power of the long sword, I was not very clear. However, later on, more and more people coveted the long sword that I obtained, so I carefully investigated it. In the small spiritual world, I only knew that there was an extremely pure Hong Meng qi in the long sword. Moreover, it was a Hong Meng qi that specialized in one kind of strength. As long as one could control this qi from the long sword. Hong Meng qi is to use this qi to release incomparably powerful sword move." Long Chen nodded. In his heart, he was happy that Jian Shisan was able to find a sword that was worthy of him. "Then what is the true power of this long sword?" Long Chen continued to ask. Jian Shisan smiled and kept him in suspense. He said, "I only discovered this when I came to the Long Meng polar region. Master, you also know that in the Long Meng polar region, there are countless dragon-descendant demon clans with the bloodline of the true dragon. In these demon clans, there are more or less remnants of the dragon clan's bloodline in their bodies. They also rely on this trace of the dragon clan's bloodline to possess cultivation aptitude that other demon clans cannot compare to." "I know this. What are you trying to say?" Long Chen was a little anxious. Chapter 1899. The Peerless Dragon Emperor. Jian Shisan smiled and said, "I didn't expect Master to lose his cool one day." Upon hearing this, Long Chen gave him a dark look and said slowly, "Believe it or not, even if I'm now a Hong Meng Yuan Jie, I can still beat you until you're looking for your teeth on the ground." As soon as he finished speaking, Jian Shisan hurriedly took a few steps back and said, "I know I was wrong. Master, don't be impulsive. I'll tell you now." Long Chen let out a long breath. Jian Shisan was also ready to continue. "As I said before, I was injured at that time and couldn't leave for a while. In order to protect myself, I had to join some forces in the Zone of Desolation. It was there, when I was fighting with some demons of the dragon descent, that I discovered that the mysterious Hong Meng qi in the long sword I obtained was used to suppress the dragon clan." Jian Shisan said excitedly. "What do you mean?" Long Chen frowned and said, "You're saying that the Hong Meng qi in your long sword has a miraculous effect on demon beasts with the dragon clan's bloodline?" Jian Shisan nodded and said, "It's not just a miraculous effect. It's like crushing dry weeds and smashing rotten wood. At first, I didn't know, and thought that those demons of the dragon descent were just superficial. Later, I realized that something was wrong, so I asked the demon beasts of the dragon descent that I had defeated. Only then did I completely understand the mystery of my long sword. The Hong Meng Qi is the essence of the dragon pearl that the person who forged the long sword used an ancient secret skill to enhance it. I heard that the bloodline of the dragon clan in the polar region in ancient times had a suppressive effect on each other. That is to say, the power of the bloodline of the dragon clan with a high realm and strength will naturally suppress other members of the dragon clan, and this suppressive force cannot be offset. The Hong Meng Qi in my long sword was cast from the essence of a dragon pearl condensed by a very powerful real dragon 100,000 years ago. Therefore, whenever I use the Hong Meng Qi in this long sword to fight against those demons of the dragon descent, it will form a pure suppressive force, which is crucial to the control of the whole battle. Jian Shisan couldn't help but look excited as he spoke. After listening to Jian Shisan's explanation, Long Chen's face was filled with black lines. If what Jian Shisan said was true, then the long sword in Jian Shisan's hand contained the essence of a dragon pearl condensed from an ancient real dragon. Moreover, the bloodline power of the ancient real dragon was of a high grade, so it was naturally able to suppress the bloodline of the demon beasts of the dragon descent in the polar region. Then, would the Hong Meng Qi in this long sword suppress him? Long Chen's expression was slightly cold as he said slowly, "Don't move. Let me have a try." While Jian Shisan was confused, Long Chen gently stroked the long sword in his hand. At this moment, before Long Chen could touch the long sword, Long Chen's expression became increasingly gloomy. "Master, could it be?" Jian Shisan was extremely shocked. Long Chen nodded sadly and said, "I forgot to tell you that I also have the bloodline of the dragon tribe in my body. However, I'm not a demon beast of the dragon descent. I'm still a proper human. You're right, your long sword does contain the Hong Meng Qi that can suppress the bloodline of the dragon tribe. When I tried to touch the long sword, I immediately felt the suppression of the bloodline. I have to say, 13, you've found a good treasure." Hearing this, Jian Shisan laughed and said, "Isn't this all thanks to Master? Don't flatter me. If that's the case, your confidence comes from the Hong Meng Qi within the long sword. Have you used this long sword against the great Desolation Castle Master, Shifeng?" Long Chen asked with a serious expression. Jian Shisan shook his head and said, "No. When I found out about the use of this longsword, I had already been planted with a bloodline suppression curse by Shifeng. As long as I go against Shifeng's will, I will suffer an intense backlash. This is really not something that is worth showing off to me. If Shifeng were to find out about the mysteries of this longsword of mine, it is likely that he will not allow me to keep this longsword." Long Chen nodded and said, "What you said makes sense. We should consider it this way." Jian Shisan said, "Therefore, since I have this long sword as my trump card, as long as I can get rid of the bloodline suppression seal in my body, even if I lose against Shifeng, I won't lose too badly. Perhaps I will even have a chance to counterattack." Long Chen agreed with Jian Shisan's words. Long Chen had personally experienced the Hong Meng Qi within the long sword. Even Long Chen, who had awakened the heavenly dragon bloodline, was suppressed by it, let alone Shifeng, who was a descendant of the draconic lion clan, who possessed the power of the dragon clan's bloodline. "It seems that the most important thing right now is to help you get rid of this bloodline suppression seal," Long Chen said in disappointment. Although Long Chen had heard about this bloodline suppression seal from Long Mu, Long Chen had no idea how it was set up and how to get rid of it. Moreover, Jian Shisan had been busy for several years, but he still didn't have a perfect way to get rid of it. It was obvious that the fort master of the Great Desolation Castle, Shifeng, was indeed a man with a mind full of strategies. At least in terms of managing his subordinates, just by relying on the bloodline suppression seal, he could protect his own life without any worries. Moreover, he could also gain the loyalty of his subordinate. Even Jian Shisan, who was the most disobedient, had to work hard for him. Long Chen couldn't help but admire Shifeng's method. "How about this, 13, you try to release the bloodline suppression seal? I will try to understand it. Perhaps there will be a way? Long Chen slowly said with a glimmer of hope. Okay. Jian Shisan readily agreed. He then sat down cross-legged and took off his clothes. Circulating Hong Meng's spiritual energy, Jian Shisan's back quickly formed a large seal pattern formed by the convergence of bloodline ravines. Long Chen stretched out his hand and gently stroked the seal pattern. Just by adding a little Hong Meng's spiritual energy, the seal pattern was able to stimulate a lot of Hong Meng energy. For a moment, Jian Shisan frowned. It seemed that Jian Shisan's actions had violated the rules of the bloodline suppression seal, and the power of the backlash immediately surged up. Long Chen faintly sensed the power of the rune pattern. After a while, Long Chen's brows relaxed from a frown. In the end, Long Chen laughed and said, "So it's like this. 13. I think I can help you get rid of this bloodline suppression seal." Chapter 1900. Master, what did you say? You have a way to remove this bloodline suppression curse? Jian Shisan suddenly became excited when he heard this. Long Chen nodded gently and said, "It seems that this bloodline suppression curse is formed by the dragon bloodline in Shifeng's body. If you want to break it, you only need to find a dragon bloodline that is more powerful than Shifeng's. The reason why you can't break this bloodline suppression curse is probably because you don't have the dragon bloodline in your body." Hearing this, Jian Shisan nodded doubtfully, but soon his face became doubtful and he said, "Master, even if I don't have the dragon bloodline in my body, the long sword in my hand contains it. In the past, I tried to use the Hong Meng Qi on the long sword to break this bloodline suppression curse, but it didn't work." Long Chen said, "It seems that this is because the bloodline suppression curse has been deeply embedded in your bloodline. If you only sharpen the long sword on the surface, there is no way to shake the foundation of the bloodline suppression curse, and there is no way to remove it." Jian Shisan acted as if he had suddenly realized something, and then said, "Master, according to your opinion, how can I remove this bloodline suppression curse? It's simple. I have the Dragon Clan's bloodline in my body, and it's definitely stronger than the Dragon Clan's bloodline power that Shifeng used on the bloodline suppression curse. As long as I inject my Dragon Clan's bloodline power into your body and you circulate your own qi, you should be able to break it. If Master can really do it, then it can't be better. When the time comes, we can also break the curse of my Long Xiang friend in the Great Desolation Castle, and we will really have the strength to deal with Shifeng." Jian Shisan said in surprise. "But I don't have much confidence. Also, I feel that this bloodline curse must have some kind of connection with Shifeng. Maybe if I break it for you, he will immediately sense it. At that time, he will definitely be more vigilant," Long Chen said slowly. Jian Shisan nodded and said, "That makes sense. Perhaps I have to find an opportunity to get together with Long Xiang and break the curse together. Indeed, we should do that. Otherwise, it is very likely that Shifeng will sense it. Moreover, if we want to take revenge on him and take some things while we are at it, we have to be more careful," Long Chen said with a solemn expression. Jian Shisan replied, "Master is really far-sighted. I believe that this time, Lang Ming will definitely tell Shifeng about this matter when he returns. Based on Shifeng's character, he will naturally be suspicious of me. He might even have some bad intentions towards you." Long Chen pondered for a moment and said, "Why don't we do this? You can temporarily return to the Great Desolation Castle. Firstly, you can calm Shifeng down so that he won't do anything to us for the time being. Secondly, you can tell Long Xiang that I can come into contact with the bloodline suppression curse. Once the preparations are complete, with the long sword in your hand, our chances of victory will be very high." Jian Shisan said with a longing expression, "When the time comes, I will destroy the Great Desolation Castle." Long Chen nodded slightly. Looking at Jian Shisan's appearance, he could not help but think of something and said, 13. During the 5 years you were in the Long Meng Polar region, Have you seen your junior brother whom you met in the small spiritual world? You mean Long Yuan? Jian Shisan asked. Long Chen nodded and said, That's him. At that time, Jian Shisan did not know of Long Mu's existence. All he knew was Long Yuan. Jian Shisan said slowly, Master, I really did see him once. Long Chen's eyes lit up and he hurriedly said, Really? Have you ever contacted him? Jian Shisan shook his head and said, It's like this. When I was in the zone of desolation, I once saw him from afar while carrying out a mission. At that time, I thought you were with him, so I wanted to ask about it. Who knew that before I could find him, I was blocked by someone by Long Yuan's side called Long Mu. At that time, they seemed to be pursued by some people, and had no time to pay attention to my existence. As a result, I missed this opportunity. Then you didn't look for him again after that? According to Jian Shisan, Long Chen had confirmed that Long Mu and Long Yuan were in the Long Meng polar region. However, Long Chen did not give up. Jian Shisan said that this was something that happened 5 years ago. In these 5 years, where did Long Yuan and Long Mu go? Jian Shisan continued, Of course I did some investigation, but the news I received shocked me. It turned out that Long Mu was a true dragon. After he and Long Yuan returned to the Long Meng polar region, they quickly returned to the gathering place of the Dragon Clan. In the Long Meng polar region, there were not many true dragons left. Naturally, it was difficult to find their gathering place. This information was more or less cut off. The gathering place of the true dragons? Long Chen nodded thoughtfully. However, in these few years, because I was in the Great Desolation Castle, I more or less learned some other secrets. Among them, there was information about the gathering place of the true dragons. Jian Shisan said slowly. Long Chen gestured for Jian Shisan to continue. Jian Shisan continued, It's like this. I heard that as long as you condense the power of your dragon clan's bloodline and fly towards the Long Meng polar region, you will be able to bring the news to the gathering place of the true dragons. Like this? Long Chen was a little surprised. This method was a little too ridiculous. Long Chen said, Are you serious? Jian Shisan nodded and said, Although I also think it's ridiculous, this method is still circulating in the Long Meng polar region. I heard that a few thousand years ago, someone really succeeded in making a true dragon appear. If it wasn't for the fact that I don't have the dragon clan's bloodline, I would have tried it long ago. Well, it's still a method. Why don't I give it a try? Long Chen said with a smile. Jian Shisan said meaningfully, Master, I believe in you. At this point, Long Chen did not hesitate. He immediately condensed the power of the dragon clan's bloodline around him, causing it to slowly gather together. At a speed visible to the naked eye, the power of the dragon clan's bloodline condensed into a pillar of light. Then, Long Chen released his mind and injected a piece of information into it. Then, Long Chen suddenly exerted his strength. In the blink of an eye, the pillar of light shot straight up, shooting towards the sky above the Long Meng polar region. Soon, the pillar of light became smaller and smaller in Long Chen's eyes. In the end, with a soft sound of space exploding, the pillar of light completely disappeared. He did not know if it would succeed. Chapter 1901. Let's do our best and leave the rest to fate. Long Chen let out a long sigh. I didn't think I would actually do such a nonsensical thing. Jian Shisan nodded with a smile. Master, don't be too concerned about this matter. Since we know that Long Yuan is in the Long Meng polar region, we will eventually be able to find Long Mu. If we can find her so easily, the entire Great Desolation Castle will surrender when her identity as a real dragon is revealed. This matter will then become boring. Long Chen expressed his agreement. After all, this was the Long Meng polar region. In this place, the identity and strength of a real dragon would naturally be above everything else. Master, since it's like this, then I'll return to the Great Desolation Fort so as to avoid that fellow, Lion Wind, from arousing suspicion, and I can't allow Lang Ming to sow discord there for nothing. Sword 13 smiled as he spoke. Long Chen pondered for a moment, then nodded. All right, I know nothing about the Great Desolation Castle. In addition, we just had a conflict with Lang Ming, so it's best for me to stay at Heavenly Sun Mountain. When you've settled the matters at the Great Desolation Castle and brought Long Xiang to our side, I will go to the Great Desolation Castle and start the uprising together. Okay. Jian Shisan agreed. Jian Shisan had the same intention. After all, if Long Chen went to other places, it would only add to his troubles. Heavenly Sun Mountain is also not bad. It seems that you have a good relationship with the Dragon Fox clan. There is something I have to tell you. What is it? Long Chen was a little concerned. Jian Shisan said, the reason why the Dragon Fox clan has been bullied to this extent over the years is largely due to the joint oppression of many demon clans. It is very difficult for the Dragon Fox clan alone to resist the many demon clans. You should know that the Dragon Fox clan is the clan with the most compatible bloodline with the Dragon clan. In other words, if the Dragon Fox clan can awaken the Dragon clan's bloodline, their strength will definitely surpass the other dragon descendant demon clans. It is because of this relationship that the other dragon descendant demon clans bully the Dragon Fox clan to their heart's content, forcing the Dragon Fox clan's strength to not be so heaven-defying. Oh, there's another reason. If you didn't tell me, I wouldn't have known. Long Chen shrugged. Jian Shisan smiled and said, there must be a lot of secrets in the Dragon Fox clan that can help the Dragon Fox clan awaken their dragon bloodline. However, there is no one to protect them, so the Dragon Fox clan has declined. If Master wants to help the Dragon Fox clan, rather than treating the symptoms but not the root cause, it is better to persuade the current Dragon Fox clan to try. Long Chen nodded and said, okay, I'll talk to him when I have the chance. Jian Shisan smiled and said, in that case, Master, I'll go back first. I'll come look for you when I'm done with the matters at the Great Desolation Castle. Jian Shisan straightened his clothes after he finished speaking. Hong Meng energy burst out from his body and he leaped up. Be careful in everything you do. Especially at a critical moment like this, you absolutely cannot lose your footing. Even if that fellow Shifeng is intentionally probing you, you still have to think clearly before dealing with him. Long Chen reminded. Don't worry, I know what I'm doing. Master, you take care of yourself here. I'm going. Jian Shisan left on his sword after he finished speaking. The Dragon Fox clan was currently celebrating the fact that they had chased Lang Ming away. Long Chen returned to the wooden house where he had rested last night and found that Ali was already guarding it. Is something the matter? Long Chen asked with a smile. Ali also smiled faintly and said, anyway, thank you. Long Chen nodded and said, it's all right. I didn't expect things to develop like this. To be honest, I was even prepared to fight Lang Ming to the death. Ali pouted and said, is our Dragon Fox clan really worth it for you to do this? Long Chen's expression was solemn as he said, I don't know if the Dragon Fox clan is worth it, but you, Ali, are. Ali's face suddenly turned red after he finished speaking. You don't talk nonsense, Ali said coquettishly. Long Chen hurriedly smiled and said, I can't stop talking. Don't take it to heart. I'm just saying. Ali's expression really changed when she heard this. I knew you didn't have any good intentions, Ali said to herself. However, Long Chen saw it clearly. Ali's blush just now was not an act. Long Chen was also confused as to why he would say such things to Ali. This doesn't conform to my identity at all. Subsequently, the two of them were silent for a while, and they couldn't help but fall into an awkward situation. After a short while, Long Chen suddenly thought of something and said, Ali, let me ask you something. What is it? Ali immediately became interested. Clearly, Ali had been waiting for Long Chen to speak. Long Chen didn't notice this and said slowly, I heard that your Dragon Fox clan was a dragon-descendant demon clan that commanded a region in the early years, and it was extremely powerful. Why did it become so dilapidated now? After thinking about it, Long Chun could only describe it like this. Although it was a little straightforward, it was right after all. Ollie was a little depressed when she heard this. It wasn't because she was disgusted by Long Chen's description of her clan, but because she really thought of this matter and was worried. I know about what you said. When I was young, someone also mentioned to me that our Dragon Fox clan used to rely on the power of the Dragon clan bloodline in our bodies, and almost everyone was extremely powerful. However, a long time ago, because of an accident, our bloodline was affected. Even if we had the Dragon clan bloodline, we couldn't fully release it. This caused our Dragon Fox clan to be so weak now, and we are bullied by other demon clans everywhere, Ollie said slowly. Long Chen nodded and said, That is to say, because your Dragon Fox clan can't fully awaken the power of the bloodline in your body, you can't raise your strength to the best state. In terms of cultivation, you can't be compared to the dragon descendant demon clans who can awaken the Dragon clan bloodline. Ollie nodded, looking depressed. I may have a way to awaken the Dragon clan bloodline, Long Chen suddenly said. Ollie was not overjoyed this time, and she still looked depressed. She said, Our Dragon Fox clan naturally knows that we should awaken the Dragon clan bloodline. For thousands of years, our Dragon Fox clan has a unique method of awakening the Dragon clan bloodline. However, since that accident, all the Dragon Foxes who chose to cultivate this method of awakening the bloodline died suddenly. Therefore, the clan sealed this method of awakening the bloodline. We would rather not let the Dragon Fox clan see the light of the future than let more Dragon Foxes die for the sake of awakening the bloodline. Long Chen was speechless when he heard this. Chapter 1902. In order to prevent the death of the Dragon Fox clan from practicing the Bloodline Awakening method, the Bloodline Awakening method was sealed. The consequence was that the Dragon Fox clan was bullied and humiliated, and in the end, more clansmen died. Was this method really suitable? Long Chun pondered for a long time and said, Ollie, can you tell me the reason for the accident you mentioned? Why was the bloodline awakening of the Dragon Fox clan able to proceed smoothly before, but after that incident it failed? Hearing this, Ali's expression gradually became a little sad, and she asked with some embarrassment, Do you really want to hear it? Long Chun nodded and said, Of course I want to hear it, but if you don't want to say it, because the Dragon Fox clan's secrets can't be told to an outsider like me, I don't care. Ali pondered for a long time and said, Anyway, you have helped our Dragon Fox clan once. It's not a big deal to tell you this kind of thing. Before Long Chen responded, Ali continued, In fact, the accident happened 10,000 years ago. The Dragon Fox clan has been sealing this matter, just like sealing the Bloodline Awakening method. The reason is related to a scandal of our Dragon Fox clan. Long Chen was a little surprised and immediately sighed. Ali let out a long breath and said, It's like this. The reason for this matter, it starts with the Bloodline Awakening method of our Dragon Fox clan. The Bloodline Awakening method of our Dragon Fox clan is not as simple as the Bloodline Awakening of other dragon descendant monster clans. Some of the other dragon descendant monster clans even awaken the dragon bloodline in their body when they are born, but our Dragon Fox clan has to go through a ceremony, or a kind of curse, to completely awaken the dragon bloodline in the body, and thus improve our strength. And this method of bloodline awakening requires the guidance of a senior of the Dragon Fox clan who has successfully awakened the dragon bloodline. The awakened dragon bloodline must be infused into the body of the person who needs to awaken the dragon bloodline. Only then can the next dragon bloodline awaken successfully. However, 10,000 years ago, a cultivation genius appeared in the Dragon Fox clan. He was only 1,000 years old, but he had already become a Hong Meng Tianjing. He was only a few steps away from becoming a Hong Meng Tao ancestor. However, this cultivation genius seemed to have encountered a bottleneck in his cultivation and was stuck in a realm in the Hong Meng firmament realm. No matter how hard he cultivated, there was no way for him to cross this threshold. Ollie explained slowly. Long Chen listened carefully, afraid that he would miss any important details. Ollie continued, later on, I don't know how he got the news, but this cultivation genius actually understood that with his identity as a dragon fox, which has the bloodline of the dragon clan and the fox clan intertwined, there was no way for him to advance his cultivation realm in this lifetime. After hearing this news, the cultivation genius lost his soul for a long time. After all, there was no way for him to give up his natural identity as a dragon fox. However, after this cultivation genius received another piece of news, which made him ecstatic. What news? Long Chen asked. Ollie said, the news that this cultivation genius received was about a secret technique to divide the bloodline power in the body. Although he didn't know where it came from, and didn't know whether this secret technique was useful or not, the cultivation genius couldn't wait to practice it. Later on, the results showed that this secret technique was indeed useful. When the cultivation genius used this secret technique, he really divided the bloodline of the dragon clan and the fox clan in his body. This surprised everyone, but before everyone could recover from this surprise, a new problem came one after another. When the cultivation genius divided his bloodline power, he fell into a dilemma. He didn't know whether to keep the bloodline of the dragon clan or the fox clan. Keeping the bloodline of the dragon clan was equivalent to having the strength of the dragon clan, and it was just around the corner for him to advance to the Hongmeng Tao ancestor. However, the price of this was that the cultivation genius could only live without a body. After all, in the Longmeng polar region, even a true dragon was difficult to find, let alone a dragon's corpse. If he chose to keep the bloodline of the Fox clan, although it could be temporarily lodged in his previous body, in this way, there was no way to advance his cultivation realm by relying only on the bloodline of the Fox clan. It was already a good thing to be able to maintain his strength and not regress. As Ollie spoke, it was as if she was putting herself in the cultivation genius' shoes, faintly calculating what choice she would make if she was in his shoes. What happened next? How did he choose? Long Chen couldn't wait to ask. Ollie nodded and continued. He didn't choose, or rather, he had already made a choice when he was practicing the secret technique. The two bloodline powers that he had separated had abandoned his original body at the same time. After all, his original body was the body of the Dragon Fox clan. Since the bloodline in his body had been isolated, naturally no one would be willing to submit to someone else. In this way, the two bloodline powers defected. Didn't you say that he had already divided the bloodline powers into two? Then, after the two bloodline powers defected, what happened to the cultivation genius? Long Chen was a little curious. Ollie nodded and said, naturally, he died. Ollie said it casually, but Long Chen could feel what the cultivation genius was thinking before he died. He really felt like he was working for someone else. However, this matter became the beginning of a nightmare for the Dragon Fox clan. Li's expression changed, becoming extremely solemn as she said, the two bloodline powers that were separated are actually the two consciousnesses of that cultivation genius. It's just that one consciousness thinks he's from the Dragon clan and the other thinks he's from the Fox clan. Originally, the Dragon Fox clan at that time thought that the two bloodline powers were the cultivation genius of the past, and treated them with respect at first. However, not long after, the Dragon Fox clan at that time realized that the matter was unusual. When Long Chen heard this, he smiled faintly and said, I think those two bloodline powers look down on the Dragon Fox clan from the bottom of their hearts. In fact, they even attacked the Dragon Fox clan under certain circumstances, right? Ollie was slightly shocked, but still nodded bitterly and said, You're right, that's indeed the case. After being quiet for a long time, the two bloodline powers finally launched an attack on the Dragon Fox tribe. You should know that the cultivation geniuses back then were the strongest in the Dragon Fox tribe. Now that two of them have appeared, the Dragon Fox tribe will naturally find it difficult to resist. Chapter 1903. Ollie continued, just like that, the Dragon Fox clan exhausted all of its power to suppress the two consciousnesses and prevent the Dragon Fox clan from being destroyed. From then on, all the ancestors of the Dragon Fox clan who had awakened the power of the Dragon clan's bloodline had entered the forbidden land of the Dragon Fox clan, just like the two consciousnesses, and never appeared again. After listening to this, Long Chun nodded and analyzed. That is to say, after that, if the Dragon Fox clan wanted to awaken the power of the Dragon clan's bloodline in your body, there would be no seniors to guide you, right? Ollie agreed and said, that's not entirely the case. In fact, after the ancestors entered the Forbidden Land, if there were clansmen who wanted to awaken the power of the Dragon clan's bloodline in their body, they only needed to enter the Forbidden Land, find the ancestors who suppressed the two consciousnesses, and ask them for help. However, later, because other clans learned about the situation of our Dragon Fox clan, they began to provoke our Dragon Fox clan. Later, fewer and fewer Dragon Foxes were able to awaken the power of the Dragon clan's bloodline in their body, and fewer clansmen who entered the Forbidden Land were able to return alive. Gradually, things developed to the current situation. Long Chun frowned and said, now, there is no one in the Dragon Fox clan who has awakened the power of the Dragon clan's bloodline, and the Forbidden Land has been closed. This is equivalent to the Dragon Fox clan being completely cut off. Ollie sighed and said, that's more or less the case. Long Chun thought for a moment and said, I think, in the current situation, if your Dragon Fox clan does not try again, perhaps in the future, the Dragon Fox clan will forget the existence of such a method. After a few thousand years, the Dragon Fox clan will think that the strength of the Dragon Fox clan has always been like this. At that time, there will be no other way. Ollie looked thoughtful for a long time and said, then, do you think I can awaken the power of the Dragon clan's bloodline in my body? As soon as he finished speaking, Long Chun paused. For a moment, he did not know what to say. Going to the Forbidden Land of the Dragon Fox clan to awaken the power of the Dragon clan bloodline in his body could be said to be a 9 out of 10 chance of survival. However, if he did not do so, the Dragon Fox clan could only be bullied by the other demon clans. According to the current situation, the Dragon Fox clan would probably be destroyed in the Long Meng polar region in less than a few thousand years. Tell me, do you think I can go to the forbidden area to awaken the power of the dragon bloodline in my body? Ali asked. After a while, Long Chun let out a long breath and gave an answer that satisfied him. If you want to go, I'll accompany you. As soon as she said that, Ali's cheeks suddenly flushed red. You. That place is a taboo place for our Dragon Fox clan. You're an outsider. What right do you have to go there? Ali spoke without thinking. Long Chun had an indifferent look on his face as he said, What? With the current strength of your Dragon Fox clan, if I wanted to go, would anyone be able to stop me? Thinking about it carefully, these words did have some meaning. Ali did not know how to reply. How about this? I'll go and discuss it with Ah Ching. Just like you said, if we don't try now, we won't have this chance anymore. Ali said slowly. Long Chun nodded and said, You should do that. Why don't you go and talk to him now? This kind of thing will change more every day. When you go, I'll go with you. Ali smiled and said, Then it's a promise. But let's make it clear first, when you go to the forbidden area, you can't have any thoughts about the treasures there. Long Chun said, Of course. Before Long Chun could finish speaking, Ali left towards the wooden house of the Dragon Fox clan. Long Chun did not finish his sentence. That sentence was, I won't have any thoughts about the treasures in the forbidden area of the Dragon Fox clan. I only have thoughts about you. Even if he did not say it out loud, Long Chun did not panic. He thought that he would say it in the future when he had the chance. But because of this sentence was delayed again and again. Many years later, when Long Chun was at the edge of life and death, He could not help but regret not saying this earlier. Arriving at the wooden house, Ali found the patriarch of the Dragon Fox clan, Ah Ching, and said, "Ah Ching, there's something I want to discuss with you." The patriarch of the Dragon Fox clan was a little surprised and hurriedly said, "What is it?" "I want to go to the forbidden area," Ali said firmly. The patriarch of the Dragon Fox clan was shocked and hurriedly said, "Ali, what's wrong with you? You and I both know the dangers of the forbidden area very well." "Why?" Ali shook her head and said, "Ah Ching, don't you see it clearly? The current situation is extremely critical for the Dragon Fox clan. Although Long Chen's strength can temporarily hold on for a while, Long Chen will not stay here forever. If the Dragon Fox clan wants to truly establish a foothold in the Long Meng polar region and restore the glory of 10,000 years ago and no longer be bullied by other demon clans, someone must awaken the power of the Dragon clan bloodline in their body." But the patriarch of the Dragon Fox clan was a little hesitant. "No buts," Ali said firmly. "Like I said, this is the last chance. Now, the Great Desolation Castle and the Dragon Wolf clan have an indelible grudge with our Dragon Fox clan. In addition, the Dragon Python clan at the back of the Heavenly Sun Mountain is about to end their dormant period. Although we can't say for sure what the Dragon Python clan's attitude towards our Dragon Fox clan will be, we have to plan ahead." At this point, the patriarch of the Dragon Fox clan looked a little shaken. Evidently, the patriarch of the Dragon Fox clan was persuaded by Ali's words. "Ali, I can open the forbidden area, but do you really want to go? Ever since I can remember, no clan member has ever returned from the forbidden area. No one knows what the forbidden area is like, let alone whether it can really help us awaken the power of the Dragon clan bloodline." The patriarch of the Dragon Fox clan said in a gloomy voice, "Even if there is a slim chance of survival, we have to give it a try. Otherwise, our Dragon Fox clan will really be finished," Ali said firmly. The patriarch of the Dragon Fox clan was finally convinced by Ali. He let out a long sigh and said, "Well, since you have made up your mind, I will open the forbidden area tomorrow and let you in. As for whether you can successfully awaken the power of the Dragon clan bloodline in your body, it will really depend on your luck." Ali smiled after receiving the support of the patriarch of the Dragon Fox clan. "Ah Ching, believe me, I will definitely be able to do it. The future of the Dragon Fox clan is up to me." Ali's expression was majestic and proud. Chapter 1904. The next morning, almost all the members of the Dragon Fox clan gathered together and walked to the front of a secret cave near the peak of Heavenly Sun Mountain. This was the forbidden area of the Dragon Fox clan, and also the place where the ancestors of the Dragon Fox clan suppressed the two consciousnesses of the cultivation genius. Everyone looked at the hidden cave and felt the ripples of the hidden array around the cave. They couldn't help but feel a solemn and stirring atmosphere in the air. Ever since the patriarch announced that Ali was going to enter the forbidden area of the Dragon Fox clan, it undoubtedly caused a huge uproar in the Dragon Fox clan. Many clansmen were not optimistic about Ali's actions and felt that Ali would die without a doubt. But on the other hand, the members of the Dragon Fox clan felt that Ali entering the forbidden area of the Dragon Fox clan was an act of hope. Most of them hoped that Ali could successfully come out of the forbidden area and awaken the power of the Dragon clan's bloodline. This way, the strength of the Dragon Fox clan would directly rise by a level. Long Chen and Ali stood together, facing the forbidden area of the Dragon Fox clan. The patriarch stood aside and said, "Mr. Long Chen, this time, I'm counting on you." Long Chen smiled and nodded. "I will do my best. Whether I can awaken the power of the Dragon clan bloodline in Ali's body this time, I will make sure Ali comes out in one piece." When Ali heard this, she naturally felt warm in her heart. The patriarch nodded and immediately released the power of Hong Meng around him. Soon, the hidden cave in front of Long Chen glowed with vitality that was not there before. It seemed that the patriarch had used a secret technique to awaken some of the spiritual creatures in the cave. The two forces were involved with each other to form such a situation. In the blink of an eye, a thick layer of Hong Meng Qi emerged from the cave. From afar, a huge cloud of Qi condensed and completely covered the original entrance of the cave. The members of the Dragon Fox clan all stepped back in unison, afraid that something bad would happen. Ali, on the other hand, did not flinch. She stabilized her aura and slowly took a step forward. "Go!" Long Chen immediately followed, and the two of them, one in front and one behind, stepped into the mass of air. "You must come back," Ah Ching, the patriarch of the Dragon Fox clan, said with a glimmer in his eyes. Entering this strange and unpredictable Hong Meng cloud, Long Chen immediately felt a strong fluctuation of Hong Meng energy. Unknowingly, Long Chen had entered another space. It was only at this time that Long Chen discovered the mysteries of this Hong Meng cloud. He couldn't help but sigh in his heart at the wonders of this forbidden land of the Dragon Fox clan. When the Hong Meng air mass in front of them gradually dissipated, what entered their eyes was a vast and boundless pure white space, as if they were standing on an endless cloud. Long Chen looked around and found that he and Ali had unknowingly arrived at the center of the cloud. It was as if there was no way out. Ali was not as shocked as Long Chen. Her expression was still calm as she slowly walked forward. "Ali, do you know where to go?" Long Chen could not help but ask. Ali nodded and said, "I can feel the pull of the bloodline. Trust me." Long Chen had no choice but to follow. After all, this was the forbidden land of the Dragon Fox clan. As a dragon fox, Ali naturally had telepathy that Long Chen could not feel. Following behind Ali, Long Chen seemed to be strolling on the cloud, moving forward little by little. During this time, Long Chen also fully activated his Hong Meng energy. It could be said that he was always prepared for battle, for fear that some danger would suddenly appear. After walking for a distance, Ali suddenly stopped, and Long Chen stopped as well. Immediately, he saw that in front of Ali, there was a layer of Hong Meng energy condensed into a dragon fox shadow. It was quietly and peacefully standing on the cloud, as if it was guarding something. Ali bowed respectfully to the dragon fox phantom and said, "Descendant Ali has come to pay his respects. Ancestors, I hope you can understand." In Long Chen's eyes, the dragon fox shadow did not have the slightest bit of vitality. It was purely relying on the unique flow of qi in this forbidden land to preserve it so well. However, Long Chen also bowed to Ali. No matter what, etiquette had to be shown. After that, Ali began to move forward. Because they were surrounded by clouds that looked exactly the same, Long Chen was about to get dizzy. If it wasn't for the fact that Ali seemed to be able to sense the unique dragon fox sensing power, Long Chen would have thought that Ali was walking blindly. After that, the two of them continuously encountered dragon fox shadows one after another. Just like before, the two of them bowed to them one by one. Just when Long Chen could not bear it anymore and was about to complain, Ali suddenly stopped. Long Chen originally thought that they had encountered another dragon fox shadow, but this time, when he looked carefully, he did not find anything. Ali stood in place and slowly released his Hong Meng energy. Long Chen realized that Ali might have discovered something, so he did not go forward to disturb him. When Ali released her primordial energy into the clouds, the pleasant cry of a fox could be heard. At first, the sound was rather soft, but as time went on, the fox's cry actually resounded in the surroundings. Under the fox cry, Long Chen could not help but feel a sense of crisis. Long Chen sensed very clearly that between the clouds, the Hong Meng spiritual energy was constantly fluctuating, as if something was about to come out. As expected, the primordial spiritual qi that had been triggered by the fox cry began to gather together. Almost in an instant, a dragon fox silhouette that seemed to have materialized appeared. Only then did Long Chen understand that the dragon fox shadows they encountered were all transformed by the ancestors of the dragon foxes in this forbidden land. However, they had completely lost their vitality and did not have the ability to help Ollie. Now, the dragon fox shadow that appeared was full of vitality. Obviously, this dragon fox shadow could help Ollie. Ollie knelt in front of the dragon fox shadow and said, "Descendant Ollie has come here today to ask the ancestors to help me awaken the power of the dragon clan bloodline in my body. Finally, someone has come. If this drags on, I'm afraid my vitality will dissipate like those people. The Dragon Fox clan will no longer have a chance," the Dragon Fox shadow said slowly. Hearing this, Long Chen quickly frowned. Since the Dragon Fox shadow was transformed by a dragon fox, why could he not feel a trace of the power of the Dragon clan bloodline on it? Chapter 1905. Naturally, Ollie did not notice this. She looked at the dragon fox phantom in front of her with utmost sincerity. She slowly stretched out her hand and touched the dragon fox phantom. The corners of the dragon fox phantom's mouth slowly raised, as if it had been waiting for a long time. Just as Ollie was about to touch the dragon fox's shadow, Ollie felt a strong tug, and she couldn't help but fall back. Long Chen caught Ollie and held her in his arms. Seeing that there was no one around, Ollie could not help but feel puzzled. "Long Chen, what are you doing?" Ollie was shocked. Long Chen stabilized Ollie's body and took a step forward. He looked straight at the dragon fox phantom suspended in midair with a dignified expression. 10,000 years ago there were two bloodline powers. I don't know which one you belong to. Are you from the Dragon Clan or the Fox Clan? Long Chen said firmly. As soon as he finished speaking, the atmosphere in the mysterious white cloud suddenly froze. The dragon fox phantom looked at Long Chen, who suddenly jumped out to intervene, and its expression changed slightly. It looked a little angry. Ollie quickly walked forward and shouted at Long Chen, "Long Chen, what are you doing? This is obviously the phantom of my Dragon Fox clan's ancestor. How could it be?" After Ollie said this, she also had a trace of doubt. If it was so easy to find the phantom of the Dragon Fox ancestor that could help her, then why would she talk about dying in this forbidden land? The Dragon Fox phantom in front of him was indeed somewhat suspicious. But why was Long Chen so sure that it was the two bloodline powers of the cultivation genius from 10,000 years ago? "Who are you? You are not from my Dragon Fox clan. How can you enter the Forbidden Land?" The Dragon Fox phantom said slowly. Long Chen smiled and said, "You dare to call yourself a member of the Dragon Fox clan? Do you really think that my eyes are just for decoration? If I am not wrong, you are the energy body formed by the Dragon clan's bloodline that was separated from the cultivation genius from 10,000 years ago, right?" As soon as he finished speaking, the Dragon Fox phantom looked as if it was struck by lightning. "Who are you?" the Dragon Fox phantom said sternly. "Why, you can't pretend any more?" Long Chen's mouth twitched as he said, "It seems that you have deceived many members of the Dragon Fox clan over the past 10,000 years. When they thought that you could help them awaken the power of the Dragon clan's bloodline in their bodies, you took advantage of the situation and devoured them." After Long Chen, Long, the Dragon Fox phantom, the Hong Meng spiritual body, the Dragon Fox phantom, and the Hong Meng spiritual qi around it. The Hong Meng qi translation was the Hong Meng qi translation qi qi qi, qi translation qi qi translation, the Meng translation 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 qi qi translation underscore translation, was translation. It a translation s translation. Was on s translation. Translation. Chen. To Chen's to ancest dragon. To be. You. That's translation. When Ollie saw this scene, she couldn't help but feel her heart palpitate. Just now, she was about to let this thing enter her body. Now that she thought about it, she was really scared. The Hong Meng spiritual body laughed out loud and said, "So what if you saw through me? A human, a dragon fox, and 2 Hong Meng Yuan Jies trash. You want to benefit from me? Long Chen didn't lose out in the slightest and said loudly, "If you say we're trash, then aren't you the same? You've been trapped in this forbidden land for nearly 10,000 years, and you still can't get out." The Hong Meng spiritual body was not angry and said calmly, "Once I devour the 2 of you, my strength will be promoted. At that time, I only need to kill those old bastards who have been trying their best to exhaust my strength, and I will be able to escape. When I get out, I will slaughter the Dragon Fox clan to take revenge for being imprisoned for 10,000 years. Aren't you afraid of biting your tongue?" Long Chen roared angrily and said, "It's just the power of the Dragon clan's bloodline that was separated from the Dragon Fox's body. Now, it has gathered into a primordial spiritual body just by relying on that ground. Does it really think that it's part of the Dragon clan?" Hong Meng's aura suddenly rose around the Hong Meng spiritual body. She said loudly, "My body is part of the Dragon clan's translation. Why can't I be promoted to the Dragon clan? I just need to find a body that I can attach to, and I will be a true dragon in this Long Meng polar land." Long Chen chuckled and said, "Perhaps if I didn't exist, this idea of yours could have been realized. However, I'm sorry to tell you that since I've encountered this matter, you won't succeed." The primordial spiritual body increased the primordial spiritual chi around him again as he shouted, "Who gave you such confidence? Let me tell you, my body is filled with the power of the Dragon clan's bloodline. Moreover, I am a primordial spiritual body of the primordial firmament realm. What can a mere primordial realm cultivator like you do to me?" Long Chen smiled and did not respond. Instead, he released the power of the heavenly dragon bloodline in his body. The heavenly dragon of the 9 heavens, call the wind and summon the rain. The rich and pure heavenly dragon's translation pressed down on the white ball of chi, and Ollie almost lost her balance. "What?" Hong Meng's spiritual body turned pale with fright. She quickly condensed the Hong Meng spiritual body around her and said sternly, "You also have the Dragon clan's translation, and it has already been awakened?" Long Chen shrugged and said, "Why, are you surprised? I don't know if my Dragon clan's translation can subdue you?" Hong Meng's spiritual body forcibly stabilized her mind and said disdainfully, "Even if your Dragon clan's translation is strong, I can't suppress you in this aspect. But so what? I'm a Hong Meng Tianjing spiritual body. No matter how strong you are, you can't kill me." "Stubborn. Do you really think that you are a true dragon in your heart? So what if you are a Hong Meng Tianjing spiritual body? If you had that ability, you wouldn't have been trapped here for so many years." Long Chen shouted sternly, "You're courting death." Hong Meng's spiritual body was finally enraged. It directly released the Hong Meng spiritual body that it had been condensing for a long time. At the same time, the entire colorful cloud displayed layers of strange phenomena. It seemed that Hong Meng's spiritual body had been here for 10,000 years and had planned something. "Ollie, back off." Long Chen turned around and reminded her. Ollie frowned and said, "I'm not backing off. This is what I should be facing. I can rely on you to help me now, but can I rely on you for the rest of my life?" Long Chen wanted to say something but stopped. "Be careful," Long Chen said slowly. Hong Meng's spiritual bodies, spiritual bodies, spiritual bodies, spiritual body rushed forward. Layers of chi waves burst out from the white cloud and rushed toward Long Chen and Ollie. Above the cloud, the white aura sea began to spin crazily. Deep whirlpools began to form. Almost in an instant, several primordial spirit pillars shot out from these whirlpools, floating majestically in the air. Chapter 1906. Bang! The densely packed white Hong Meng spirit pillars rained down like a torrential downpour. Mixed with the powerful Hong Meng Gang Qi, it was a mighty sight. Although Long Chen had tacitly agreed that Ollie could fight alongside him, he still protected Ollie behind him. Long Chen's eyes flashed with a cold light. The Hong Meng aura around him surged, and in the blink of an eye, Long Chen directly condensed 9 fire dragons. Within his meridians, the fire dragon phantoms were constantly growing. The 9 fire dragons collided head-on with the white Hong Meng spirit pillars without the slightest hesitation. Just as the fire dragons came into contact with the torrential downpour of Hong Meng spirit pillars, the energy above the Hong Meng spirit pillars was directly devoured. However, the fire dragons were not affected in the slightest. They were still in midair, looking down on the world. Heavenly dragon art? 9 parts? How is that possible? Upon seeing this, the Hong Meng spirit body immediately shouted out. Long Chen was also shocked. Ever since he mastered the 9 parts heavenly dragon art, many people were only amazed by the power of Long Chen's technique. However, they did not know what this technique was. They never expected that in the forbidden land of the Dragon Fox clan, this Hong Meng spirit body, who was neither a dragon nor a fox, would actually know the name of the heavenly dragon art. From the looks of it, this Hong Meng spirit body did not have a simple background. You know your stuff? That's interesting. Long Chen smiled. Hong Meng's spirit body was shocked and said, Who are you? You're obviously from the human clan, but you have such a pure and awakened dragon clan bloodline. Most importantly, you can actually use the heavenly dragon art, and it's the 9 parts heavenly dragon art? Long Chen's expression changed slightly and said, You actually know this. I'm a little curious. Who are you? Hong Meng's spirit body slightly restrained his own Hong Meng aura and said, Let me tell you, I naturally have my own abilities to be able to find the secret technique to extract my own bloodline 10,000 years ago. Although I'm now imprisoned in the Forbidden Land, I've already devoured all the life energy in this Forbidden Land. Even the fox bloodline spirit body that appeared with me translation, Hong Meng translation, Hong Meng translation, Hong Meng spirit body spirit translation, Hong translation, Hong Meng translation, translation, shameless. When the primordial spirit body finished speaking, a Li, who hadn't spoken much, suddenly cursed. As it turned out, those Dragon Fox tribesmen had already been devoured by the Dragon Clan's bloodline spirit body. Shameless. Hong Meng smiled and said, This is quite suitable for me. 10,000 years ago, I should have done my best to annihilate your Dragon Fox clan. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been reduced to this state. I'm actually trapped in this forbidden land by your tiny and weak Dragon Fox clan. Ali had never imagined that the forbidden land that she had dreamt of, that could bring her opportunities and hope, would actually become such a hell. Long Chen frowned and said, You said that the reason you're still trapped here is because the Dragon Fox clan and a few of their ancestors are pressuring you? A glimmer of hope appeared on Ali's gloomy face. Hong Meng's spiritual body snorted coldly and said, They're just a few old farts. If it weren't for those extremely lethal formations, they wouldn't have survived. With Hong Meng's spiritual body's response, Long Chen smiled and said, In other words, as long as I kill you, we can see the real Dragon Fox ancestor, right? After observing Long Chen's 9 fire dragons for a while, Hong Meng's spiritual body had a rough idea of the ability of Long Chen's heavenly dragon secret art. Naturally, he was no longer as fearful as before. If you don't want to die, you can give it a try. I gave you face just now because of the Heavenly Dragon's secret art, but now I realize that your Heavenly Dragon's secret art is just for show. No matter what, you're still a human and will never be able to display the true strength of the Heavenly Dragon's secret art." Hong Meng's spiritual body clamored. Long Chen nodded and said, "Indeed, although I've cultivated the Heavenly Dragon's secret art to the 9th stage, I still can't display its full strength. However, I can't only have the Heavenly Dragon's secret art as my only trump card. You haven't seen some of my techniques yet." As soon as his voice fell, Long Chen suddenly exerted his strength and Hong Meng's aura burst out. In Long Chen's meridians, the fire dragon shadow that had been gathered for a long time was finally warmed to the extreme by Long Chen. "Rise!" Long Chen shouted loudly, and the fire dragon shadow in his meridians was directly peeled off from Long Chen's meridians. The fire dragon shadow condensed in midair, and immediately a wave of pressure spread between heaven and earth. Fire Dragon World. Once the power and pressure of the fire dragon shadow appeared, it naturally suppressed the aura of the spirit pillars that were originally formed by the white gas masses controlled by Hong Meng's spirit body. "Since you know the Heavenly Dragon's secret art, then I don't need to introduce the technique that I'm using now, right?" Long Chen said with a smile. Hong Meng's spirit body felt the power of the fire dragon that was condensed between heaven and earth, and his expression was finally terrified. Soon, Hong Meng's spirit body said in fear, "Fire Dragon World? You're just a human. How is this possible? How is this possible?" In the heart of Hong Meng's spirit body, monstrous waves had already set off. This human Hong Meng Yuanjie, who didn't show any strength at all at the beginning, actually had such a terrifying trump card that shocked him one after another? What happened in the Long Meng polar region in the 10,000 years that he wasn't here? Long Chen naturally wouldn't wait for Hong Meng's spirit body to stop looking shocked. It wasn't easy for him to condense the fire dragon shadow, so naturally he wanted to let it display its greatest strength. Hong Meng's aura fluctuated around Long Chen, and 9 fire dragons surrounded the fire dragon shadow. The fire dragon world's power of heaven and earth enveloped it. Those white clouds had long since disappeared without a trace, and with the support of the fire dragon shadow, Hong Meng's aura surged even more violently around the 9 fire dragons. "Fire Dragon World!" Long Chen shouted fiercely. The fire dragon pressure that filled the sky swept down. The 9 fire dragons seemed to be real, and each of them radiated an extremely powerful aura as they directly bombarded Hong Meng's spirit body. Seeing this scene, Hong Meng's spirit body knew that it was no match for the fire dragons, and immediately escaped into the void, wanting to escape. Chapter 1907. Long Chen smiled. How could he give Hong Meng's spiritual body a chance to escape? Following closely behind where Hong Meng's spiritual body disappeared, 9 fire dragons swept out at the same time. Their speed was so fast that they left several afterimages in the air. In the blink of an eye, the 9 fire dragons surrounded the Hong Meng's spiritual body that was about to escape. No matter how strong the Hong Meng's spiritual body was, he could only brace himself and face them head-on. However, in a head-on clash, how could he compare to Long Chen, who had already used the heaven and earth of the fire dragon? The pressure of the heaven and earth of the fire dragon had been added to the Hong Meng's spiritual body along with the 9 fire dragons. For a moment, even if the Hong Meng's spiritual body had the strength of Hong Meng Tianjing, there was nothing he could do. To be able to give the Hong Meng's spiritual body a head-on blow so quickly, in the eyes of outsiders, it was indeed a little surprising. After all, with Long Chen's strength, it was a little unbelievable that he was able to force a Hong Meng Tianjing's spiritual body to this extent. However, there was a predestined fate in the unseen world. On one hand, Long Chen had released the heavenly dragon bloodline. With the suppression of the pure dragon bloodline, he had already forcefully suppressed nearly 20% of the Hong Meng's spiritual body's strength. Then, Long Chen's heaven and earth of the fire dragon was added to the Hong Meng's spiritual body's strength, which could be considered as reducing another 20% of the Hong Meng's spiritual body's strength. In the end, with Long Chen's 9 fire dragons' encirclement, he had almost destroyed all of the Hong Meng's spiritual body's defenses. Moreover, the Hong Meng's spiritual body had been trapped in the Forbidden Land for nearly 10,000 years. Its strength was no longer at its peak. Even if it had the same cultivation level as the Hong Meng Tianjing, it did not have the strength that the Hong Meng Tianjing should have. As for Long Chen, he was the exact opposite of Hong Meng's spiritual body. Although Long Chen was not at the level of Hong Meng Tianjing, he could use all kinds of trump cards to display the strength of Hong Meng Tianjing. This kind of battle was unfair to begin with. However, from the very beginning, the Hong Meng spiritual body thought that it had the upper hand in this battle. In Long Chen's eyes, this was really a joke. With a thought, Long Chen's 9 fire dragons released the last layer of Hong Meng's energy. At the same time, the fire dragon's phantoms suppressed the Hong Meng spiritual body's powerful aura. Spare me, spare me. I will never harm the Dragon Fox clan again. I will stay in this forbidden land forever and never leave. On the verge of life and death, the Hong Meng spiritual body shouted loudly. Long Chen naturally would not be moved by this kind of begging. Long Chen knew what kind of face the Hong Meng spiritual body had at the beginning. Sparing this kind of thing was equivalent to finding trouble for himself. This was the truth that Long Chen had comprehended when he experienced the river Songhua. Whether it was in the forbidden land of Hong Meng or the forbidden land of Long Meng, the truth was interconnected. The Hong Meng spiritual body's mind was constantly under the bombardment of the fire dragons. The 9 fire dragons were constantly emitting rich Hong Meng's spiritual energy, directly bombarding the Hong Meng spiritual body's body. The Hong Meng spiritual body had already lost the ability to speak. At this time, it was probably his last chance to see the world. In the blink of an eye, the Hong Meng spiritual body dissipated just like that. The vitality of the Hong Meng spiritual body scattered in all directions, directly shaking the Hong Meng spiritual body in the Forbidden Land. Long Chen let out a long sigh. After confirming that the Hong Meng spiritual body was indeed dead, Long Chen hurriedly withdrew the 9 fire dragons and the fire dragon phantoms, and then stabilized his Hong Meng spiritual body's aura. Although this display was not as fierce as before, but this level of pressure still consumed a lot of Long Chen's energy. Long Chen was too tired. He sat down on the ground, panting heavily. Ali looked at the battle that ended in just a dozen breaths, and couldn't help but be shocked. Back then, the ancestors of the Dragon Fox clan had to join forces to suppress the primordial spirit body here. Yet you, Long Chen, had dealt with it so easily? Isn't this too casual? Long Chen slowly stood up and said, "There's no need to make a fuss. It's all thanks to the protection of your Dragon Fox ancestors that I was able to kill him. Without them constantly consuming the Hong Meng spiritual body's aura for the past 10,000 years, I could only rely on the power of the Dragon Clan's bloodline in my body. But it's really not that easy to kill him." Ali didn't know what to say for a moment, and her expression was a little sluggish. Long Chen took a few steps forward and said, "Don't think too much. Try to sense for a while. I think there are still living Dragon Fox ancestors in this forbidden land. Whether you can find them or not, I can't help much." Hearing this, Ali immediately became spirited. She followed Long Chen, and once again released the Hong Meng aura in her body. Her mind sensed the Dragon Fox aura in this forbidden land. Relying on these auras, Ali could vaguely sense the aura of the Dragon Fox ancestors, and was able to determine the general direction. With the direction in mind, Ali moved again. Long Chen followed behind Ali, and just like before, he always maintained the Hong Meng aura around him. After walking for a long time, Ali suddenly turned back and said, "Long Chen, are you okay?" Long Chen, who seemed to have waited for a long time, grinned and said, I was a little tired, but after you asked, I'm really fine. After saying that, Ollie immediately turned around and snorted coldly. Why didn't I let you fall to the ground with serious injuries? Long Chun replied with a smile. Why? If I fell to the ground with serious injuries, would you take advantage of me? Ollie did not respond, nor did she turn around. Her walking speed first decreased, and then suddenly increased. Long Chun could not see Ali's reaction. After a while, he recovered his previous spirit. After Long Chun said that sentence, he regretted it. After thinking about it carefully, he felt that he should not have acted so frivolously. However, if he did not do so, Long Chun would feel that Ollie did not value him enough. Long Chun did not know how the two of them would interact and how they would go in the future. So what if he could defeat the Hong Meng Tianjing? In the face of love, he was still so vulnerable. Sometimes, Long Chun felt that following Ollie like this, watching her pursue what she wanted, and being able to help from time to time, even if he did not receive the gratitude he deserved, this feeling was pretty good. Long Chun hoped that this journey would be slow. It would be best if this forbidden land never ended. Walking for a day, a month, or a lifetime. Chapter 1908. After walking for a long time in the forbidden area and following the guidance of the thin bloodline energy that Ali had sensed, Long Chun and Ali finally arrived in front of a dragonfox's silhouette. This dragonfox shadow was much larger than the dragonfox shadows that Long Chun had encountered before. It was majestic and intimidating. The dragonfox phantom was the source of the dragonfox phantom's bloodline power. However, Long Chun could not detect the slightest bit of vitality from this dragonfox phantom. Everything had a spirit. Even if they were dead, some almighty beings could still leave behind a trace of spiritual energy in this world. Just like the dragonfox phantoms that Long Chun had encountered before. Although it was obvious that they had no hope of survival, they could still detect a bit of vitality from those dragonfox phantoms. However, the one before them did not have the slightest bit of vitality. Ollie knelt down in front of the dragonfox phantom and said, "Ancestor, please bless me and help me awaken the dragonfox bloodline power." There was no response for a long time after she finished speaking. Long Chun looked at Ali's pitiful appearance and could not help but feel a little anxious. Ali frowned and said, "I can only sense up to this point. If it still doesn't work, I really have no other way." Long Chun looked solemn and said, "Let me try." Long Chun didn't care about Ali's response. He directly released the grand mist spiritual energy around his body, completely enveloping the dragonfox's illusory figure. During this, Long Chun released the heavenly dragon bloodline power around him and added it to the dragonfox phantom. After a while, a strange phenomenon occurred. The originally dormant dragonfox phantom gradually radiated a vitality that it did not have before, and this vitality continued to spread. Ali was excited when she saw this scene. Long Chun smiled and immediately withdrew the power of his heavenly dragon bloodline. He was afraid that it would affect the dragon fox phantasm. After around the time for half an incense stick to burn, the dragon fox finally spoke. "Descendant, you are finally here." Presumably, this was the real ancestor of the dragon fox phantom. Ali knelt down again and said sincerely, "I am your descendant, Ali. I am here today to ask for your blessing and help me awaken the dragon fox bloodline power." When the dragon fox phantom heard these words, its majestic figure moved and said, "How has the dragon fox phantom been in the past 10,000 years?" Ali hurriedly said, "The dragon fox phantom translation dragon fox phantom, the phantom's phantom, the dragon fox phantom for translation phantom, the phantom has been bullied for thousands of years." The dragon fox phantom heard these words translation. Ali was still kneeling on the ground. Facing the ancestors, Ali still had etiquette. Long Chun felt sorry for Ali and tried to help her up several times. After being refused, Long Chun said to the dragon fox phantom, over the past 10,000 years, the clansmen of your phantom have come to find you. I presume you are aware of this. Could it be that you are just going to watch them be deceived by the Hong Meng phantom and become fertilizer for the Hong Meng phantom to advance its strength? The Dragon Fox phantom sighed and said, although I am aware of this, I have my own difficulties. If I had the strength to stop it, I would naturally not have allowed the Hong Meng phantom to run amok. Long Chun frowned and said, I still don't understand. Didn't you say that you suppressed it back then? Why would such an unforeseen event occur in the future? The Dragon Fox phantom said, 10,000 years ago, the patriarch of the clan divided his bloodline into two parts. Unexpectedly, the two bloodlines that were cut out actually had their own consciousness in an instant. The patriarch's soul was directly extinguished. As for the clan chief's two bloodline powers, they formed a dragon spirit and a fox spirit. The two Hong Meng phantoms each had their own consciousness. They did not recognize the bloodline of our Dragon Fox clan and wanted to escape. However, at that time, we did not find the patriarch and naturally did not allow them to leave. Thus, the battle began. Long Chun listened carefully, wanting to know more about the specific details of the matter. The Dragon Fox phantom continued, our Dragon Fox clan exhausted the strength of the entire clan to suppress the two Hong Meng phantoms in the Forbidden Land. It is reasonable to say that the other elders and I only need to stay in the Forbidden Land for a few months to complete the formation. Who would have thought that there would be a problem at the last moment? Long Chun had already helped Ollie up and she was also listening attentively to the Dragon Fox phantom's narration. What problem? Ollie was listening attentively. At that time, for the sake of convenience, we suppressed the two Hong Meng phantoms in a formation at the same time. Who would have thought that it was this move that pushed our Dragon Fox clan into the abyss? Just before the formation was about to be completed, the dragon spirit actually swallowed the fox spirit. In this way, the original formation could not withstand the dragon spirit that swallowed the fox spirit. In order to not let the Dragon Fox clan outside the Forbidden Land suffer, we decided to use all the Hong Meng spiritual power in the Forbidden Land to forcibly suppress the dragon spirit. Things seemed to be successful in the end, but because several of us had put in too much effort and the formation was too weak, we did not dare to leave rashly for a while, so we had to stay here and guard. The Dragon Fox phantom recalled what happened 10,000 years ago, and for a moment, his expression became a little gloomy. Long Chun still did not interrupt the Dragon Fox phantom's narration, so the Dragon Fox phantom continued, who knew that the dragon spirit that we had suppressed in the formation still had chi. Moreover, he took advantage of our recuperation to launch a sneak attack on us. Although he did not have the strength to kill us, we did not have the strength to fight back after being attacked by him. So, we decided to end it once and for all. We used all our chi to support the Hong Meng phantoms in the formation. Rather than saying that it was a formation that suppressed the Hong Meng phantoms, it was better to say that it was a formation that suppressed us and the Hong Meng phantoms at the same time. Like this, tens of thousands of years passed. The dragon spirit constantly swallowed up our strength. Several thousand years ago, the several elders that entered this forbidden land with me had their last traces of strength consumed by the Grand Mist spirit body. Like this, they perished in this forbidden land. As for me, I am also on the verge of death. The Dragon Fox phantom sighed. For those Dragon Fox clan members who were confused by the Hong Meng phantoms, we were really powerless. We could only watch as their lives were cheated by the dragon spirit. After listening to the narration of the Dragon Fox phantom, Long Chun sighed and said, I don't know if you can still help Ali complete the awakening of the Dragon Clan bloodline power. Now that you have entered the array, I will help you sense it. Ali looked at Long Chen with some hesitation after hearing this. Long Chen smiled and said, Go, I will protect you here, don't worry. With Long Chen's words, Ollie took a step forward and stepped into the ring-shaped array. The moment Ollie entered the formation, the white clouds floating around her began to violently twitch. In the blink of an eye, the white clouds that had gathered together were like a torrential downpour, completely sealing off the ring-shaped formation. "What the hell are you doing?" Seeing this scene, Long Chen could not help but feel a little nervous. The Dragon Fox Phantom said sternly, "You only need to know that I will not harm my clan members." No matter how he looked at it, the Dragon Fox Phantom did not seem to be lying. After weighing the pros and cons, Long Chen still felt that he should let the Dragon Fox Phantom play around for a while. After all, this was a major event for Ollie to awaken the Dragon Clan's bloodline in her body. The Dragon Fox's silhouette suddenly stepped onto the array formed by the white clouds. The Grand Mist spirit energy around its body scattered in all directions and poured into the array. Seeing this, Long Chen exclaimed, "Are you pouring your spirit chi into the array? Do you want to die?" The Dragon Fox Phantom laughed and said, "I gave up my life 10,000 years ago, but who knew that the heavens would take pity on me and let these old bones of mine survive in this forbidden land for 10,000 years? For 10,000 years, I suffered all kinds of humiliation from the dragon spirit, but for the safety of my Dragon Fox clan, I still did my best to suppress the dragon spirit. Now, the dragon spirit is dead, and my Dragon Fox clan has been bullied in the Longmeng Polar region. It was not easy to meet a clansman who came to the Forbidden Land to awaken her dragon bloodline. Even if I have to give up my life, I will help her successfully awaken her dragon bloodline." Long Chen was a little embarrassed. When he thought about how he had doubted the ancestor of the dragon fox, he immediately felt a little embarrassed. Long Chen said, "Senior, didn't you say before that you only need to sleep for a few hundred years to recover?" The Dragon Fox Phantom laughed and said, "I have lost nearly 10,000 years of strength to the dragon spirit. You must have noticed just now that there is not much dragon bloodline left in my body. If I want to help my clansman awaken her dragon bloodline, I will have to give up my life." Hearing this, Long Chen sighed with emotion and hurriedly said, "I thank Senior on behalf of Ollie." The Dragon Fox Phantom said, "To be able to make a contribution to the Dragon Fox clan, it doesn't count as me struggling in this dark forbidden land for 10,000 years. Moreover, I can see that this clansman of mine has excellent talent. If she awakens her dragon bloodline, she will definitely be able to lead my Dragon Fox clan to its former glory." Long Chen nodded and said, "Of course, the dragon bloodline is the most valuable ability of the dragon descendant monster clan. I believe that after Ollie awakens her dragon bloodline, she will definitely be able to complete Senior's mission and will not let Senior down." The Dragon Fox Phantom continued to emit Grand Mist spiritual power. The power of the Dragon Clan's bloodline within the array formation, wrapped in white clouds, was gradually increasing. Long Chen couldn't say much and could only wait quietly. Suddenly, the Dragon Fox said, "I haven't asked you yet. Where did you come from? Why was I able to sense the power of the Dragon Clan's bloodline from your body? Moreover, your Dragon Clan's bloodline is so strong. I think it's mostly because of you that I was able to subdue the primordial spiritual body, right?" Long Chen said respectfully, "Senior, you can naturally see that I'm not a dragon fox, nor am I a demon. I come from the primordial polar ground, and I'm a human with the dragon race's bloodline power. Previously, the Hong Meng spirit body was indeed suppressed by the dragon bloodline power in my body, and then I took the opportunity to subdue it." The Dragon Fox Phantom nodded and said, "The Hong Meng Polar region, the current Dragon Meng Polar region, actually allows humans from the Hong Meng Polar region to come here. What happened in the past 10,000 years?" Chapter 1910. Hearing the words of the Dragon Fox, Long Chen suddenly thought of something and said, "Senior, there is something I would like to ask." The Hong Meng spiritual energy around the Dragon Fox Phantom was constantly fluctuating, but the amplitude of the fluctuation was slowly decreasing. Ask away. I have been here for more than 10,000 years. The things I can remember are only things that happened 10,000 years ago. If I know something, I will tell you everything. It can be considered as doing good deeds for my Dragon Fox clan. The voice of the Dragon Fox Phantom became a little weak. Long Chen twitched his mouth and thought, why is helping me doing good deeds? What Long Chen wanted to ask was naturally about the existing real dragons in the Long Meng polar region. I wonder if Senior knows where the existing dragon clan are in the Long Meng polar region? Long Chen said slowly. The Dragon Fox Phantom's expression became a little horrified as he said, you came from the Hong Meng polar region. Are you asking this kind of thing because you want to exterminate the last remaining dragon clan? Long Chen naturally understood why the Dragon Fox Phantom said so. Everyone knew about the great battle between the Hong Meng polar region and the Long Meng polar region 100,000 years ago. After that, the Hong Meng Dao ancestor often sent people to the Long Meng polar region to kill the remaining real dragons of the Dragon Clan. This also dealt with many demon clans of the Dragon Clan. Until now, there was no demon clans of the Dragon Clan living in the Long Meng polar region who did not know about these things. Long Chen quickly explained, Senior misunderstood. I am not here to scheme against the remaining real dragons of the Long Meng polar region. The reason I am looking for the place where the real dragons are is to find a friend. Friend? The Dragon Fox Phantom was a little puzzled. As far as I know, as early as tens of thousands of years ago, the remaining real dragons of the Long Meng polar region entered the Long Meng Utopia and never came out again. Could it be that in these 10,000 years, the real dragons left the Long Meng Utopia to be your friend? This was the first time Long Chen had heard of the term Long Meng Paradise. He was slightly surprised, but fortunately, he still had some gains. Now, if he wanted the Dragon Fox Phantom to tell him everything he knew, Long Chen naturally had to tell him the truth. Long Chen said sincerely, Senior, you've misunderstood. It's like this. I met my friend in the Dragon Clan in the polar region of Hong Meng. When I met him, he was just a remnant of a true dragon soul. With my help, he found the soul-awakening divine herb that could repair the soul and the twofold immortal flower that could reforge the body. After that, I separated with this true dragon friend of mine due to some matters. Afterwards, I learned that he had come to the Long Meng polar region, so I chased after him. I think that if he had come to the Long Meng polar region, he would have met up with the other true dragons as soon as possible. That's why I asked Senior. The Dragon Fox Phantom was skeptical and said, the soul-awakened divine grass and the twofold immortal flower are both extremely rare spirit medicines. You can actually find them? Long Chen chuckled and said, it's just good luck. No matter how the Dragon Fox Phantom looked at Long Chen, he didn't feel that he was a person who would fish for fame. In addition, Long Chen had escorted Li into this forbidden place, so the Dragon Fox Phantom easily untied the knot in his heart. If what you said is true, there's no harm in telling you some things about the Long Meng Paradise, the Dragon Fox Phantom said slowly. Long Chen was overjoyed and said, Thank you, Senior. The Dragon Fox Phantom said, 100,000 years ago, the Hong Meng polar region, Pang Meng polar region, and Lin Meng polar region, the Hong Meng Dao ancestor of the three polar regions besieged the Long Meng polar region at that time. The Dao ancestor of the Long Meng polar region resisted with all his might, but he was no match for them. The Long Meng clan was slaughtered and almost went extinct. However, some dragons were able to survive in the Long Meng paradise unique to the Long Meng polar region. Long Chen frowned and said, Senior, is this Long Meng paradise a small world created by one side? The Dragon Fox Phantom nodded and said, I didn't expect you to know so much. That's right, this Long Meng paradise is a small world created by one side. Some Hong Meng dragons who didn't experience the war managed to survive in Long Meng paradise. However, after the war, the Hongmeng Dao ancestor also learned about Longmeng Paradise. However, at that time, the Hongmeng Dao ancestor was already seriously injured and had no time to care about Longmeng Paradise. He could only send some of his trusted subordinates to the Longmeng Polar region to search for traces of Longmeng Paradise. In the next tens of thousands of years, Longmeng Paradise was constantly attacked by human cultivators from the Hongmeng Polar region. The surviving dragons in Longmeng Paradise were all killed or injured. Later, when the strength of the dragonborn demon clan in the Longmeng Polar region gradually grew stronger, the human cultivators gradually stopped attacking Longmeng Paradise due to the strength of the dragonborn demon clan. After tens of thousands of years, fewer and fewer people knew about Longmeng Paradise. The dragon fox phantom recalled these past events and couldn't help but sigh. The reason why the dragonborn demon clan in the Longmeng Polar region could keep pace with the human cultivators in the Hongmeng Polar region and not fall behind in terms of strength was because of the trace of dragon bloodline in their bodies. Even such a dragonborn demon clan was so strong, so how strong would the real dragon clan be? Thinking about it carefully, he could also figure out why Hongmeng bought that Dao ancestor to start the war. He was the first to be promoted to Hongmeng Dao ancestor and set the cultivation rules for the world. Didn't he have to add the words Hongmeng to every realm? The vast and mighty spiritual power of the world was originally nameless. Since Hongmeng was promoted to Dao ancestor, Hongmeng's power was born. It was as if the world was created by Hongmeng Dao ancestor. However, it was not until the appearance of Longmeng, or the appearance of the Dragon Clan, that the Hongmeng Dao ancestor, who was originally unhindered, felt a sense of crisis. The Dragon Clan was born with a greater cultivation advantage than humans. The newborn Dragon Clan had the strength of Hongmeng Yuanjia. How could humans compare with them? Therefore, the actions of the Hongmeng Dao ancestor at that time also had some reasons. However, this reason did not work in the Longmeng Polar region. For some things, it was better to distinguish between right and wrong than to distinguish between good and evil. Long Chen digested what the Dragon Fox Phantom said, and then asked, "Senior, do you know where Longmeng Paradise is in the Longmeng Polar region? If you want to go, how do you get there?" The Dragon Fox Phantom smiled and said, "Longmeng Paradise is a separate world in the Longmeng Polar region. Since you know the origin of the small world, I naturally don't need to explain too much. If you want to enter Longmeng Paradise, unless you are a real dragon, there is no way." Chapter 1911. Long Chen was a little surprised and said, "Only the true dragon can enter the Longmeng Grotto Heaven? Other than that, is there no other way?" The Dragon Fox Phantom nodded and said, "As far as I know, this is indeed the case, but what I know is also from 10,000 years ago. As for what happened in the past 10,000 years, I can't say for sure." Since the Dragon Fox Phantom had already said this, Long Chen didn't ask anything more. What the Dragon Fox Phantom said should be true. Otherwise, the Longmeng Grotto Heaven wouldn't have been able to survive the invasion of the Hongmeng Polar region cultivators for nearly 10,000 years. Thinking of this, Long Chen asked again, "Senior, since this is the case, is there any way to contact the Longmeng Grotto Heaven?" The Dragon Fox Phantom said seriously, "If you are in the Longmeng Polar region and release your Hongmeng spirit into the sky, maybe the true dragon of the Longmeng Grotto Heaven can sense it. This method really works?" Long Chen was a little surprised. When the Jian Shisan told him about this method, although Long Chen followed it, he didn't have any hope in this matter at all. Now, according to the Dragon Fox Phantom, there was a basis for this method? Isn't the Longmeng Grotto Heaven a small world independent of the Longmeng Polar region? Long Chen was confused and said, "Why can we connect to the Longmeng Grotto Heaven from the Longmeng Polar region?" Just after he finished speaking, Long Chen's mind flashed, and he quickly said, Is it possible that this Long Meng Grotto heaven is floating above the Long Meng polar region? Hearing this, the dragon fox phantom nodded and admitted it. Yes, the Long Meng Grotto heaven is above the Long Meng polar region. However, the Long Meng Grotto heaven is always floating. Although it is possible to directly use the Hong Meng spirit power from the Long Meng polar region, this possibility is too low. The dragon fox phantom said slowly. Okay. Long Chen sighed and said, "Thank you for telling me, senior." At this moment, the form of the dragon fox phantasm suddenly dispersed and reassembled, which immediately made Long Chen a little nervous. "Senior, what's wrong?" Long Chen quickly asked. The dragon fox phantom gathered back together and said, "It's fine. I just didn't expect that the dragon clan bloodline in this clansman called Li would be so powerful. With my current strength, I'm actually unable to subdue it in a short period of time." The voice of the dragon fox phantom instantly became much older. It sounded like a lamp that was about to run out of oil. Long Chen said solemnly, "Then can the bloodline awakening be completed?" The dragon fox's phantom replied, "The original method definitely won't work. The only way now is for me to make a sacrifice so that the dragon bloodline of my clansmen can be successfully awakened." Sacrifice. Long Chen murmured. The dragon fox phantom nodded and said, "I will use all my qi and blood to enhance the power of the dragon clan bloodline. This will force the dragon clan bloodline in my clansmen to submit, so that my clansmen can control this unruly dragon clan bloodline. Only in this way can the dragon clan bloodline in her body be successfully awakened." Long Chen was confused. After all, there was a big gap between humans and dragon foxes. Thinking back to when Long Chen awakened the sky dragon bloodline in his body, he only needed to use the suppression of the spiritual power family in Hong Meng to force it. However, the awakening of the dragon fox bloodline did indeed require so many complicated steps. There was an insurmountable gap between humans and the demon clan of the dragon clan. Long Chen said, "Senior, may I ask how long this sacrifice will take?" The form of the dragon fox phantom dissipated and reassembled again several times. Later, the dragon fox phantom no longer had the ability to reassemble into a complete entity. "At least 7 days, at most a month," the dragon fox phantom said slowly. "So long." Long Chen was a little surprised. The agreement between him and Jian Shisan was not something that Long Chen could delay. The dragon fox phantom seemed to have seen through Long Chen's worries and said, "If you have something to do, you can go out. You can't help much here. You're just distracting me with your questions. Although it's good to have someone to talk to before death, you're still a human. There's really nothing to talk about with you." Long Chen shrugged and thought, "If you can't help Ollie awaken the dragon clan bloodline, I won't even bother to talk to you. Since Senior has spoken, I won't stay here any longer. Please send me out. When I'm outside, let the current patriarch of the Dragon Fox clan come in," Long Chen said slowly. The Dragon Fox phantom was already on the verge of collapse, but it still put on a dignified aura in front of Long Chen and said, "All right, let the patriarch of the Dragon Fox clan come in. I have something to say to her. You can go out." After he finished speaking, a dense grand mist aura appeared beside the dragon fox's phantom. This aura instantly surrounded Long Chen's body. In a moment, the world was turned upside down. Long Chen took advantage of the situation and rushed towards Hong Meng. When they looked again, Long Chen appeared in front of the original cave of the Heavenly Sun Mountain. When Long Chen walked out of the Hong Meng cloud, the Dragon Fox clan members, who had been waiting for a long time, looked at each other in dismay when they didn't see Ali's figure behind Long Chen. When the majority of the Dragon Fox clan members saw this scene, they silently prayed in their hearts. If Ali didn't come back this time, it would mean that their Dragon Fox clan would never be able to awaken the Dragon clan bloodline in their body. In that case, their Dragon Fox clan would be like a pool of stagnant water, and anyone could come and bully them. The patriarch of the Dragon Fox clan, Ching, quickly walked to Long Chen's side and said with a solemn face, "Lord Long Chen, how is Ali? Why did you come out alone?" In order not to make the patriarch nervous, Long Chen hurriedly said, "Patriarch, don't worry. Ali is fine. Although we encountered some trouble in the forbidden area at the beginning, we were able to deal with it. Later on, we did see the ancestor of the Dragon Fox clan. At this time, the ancestor is helping Ali awaken the Dragon clan bloodline in her body. This process takes about 7 days to a month, and I couldn't help much, so I came out." After listening to Long Chen's explanation, the patriarch of the Dragon Fox clan naturally felt relieved. The surrounding Dragon Fox clan members also let out a long sigh of relief. The patriarch of the Dragon Fox clan continued to ask, "Is the ancestor of the Dragon Fox clan really still in the forbidden area?" Long Chen was a little embarrassed. He couldn't say for sure about the ancestor of the Dragon Fox clan's situation. If he told the truth, he was afraid that the Dragon Fox clan members present would be disheartened. "The ancestor of the Dragon Fox clan asked me to come out for one thing, and another thing is that he wants to see you, Patriarch. The forbidden area is no longer dangerous, so Patriarch can go in without worry." Chapter 1912. The Dragon Fox Patriarch was willing to believe Long Chen's words. The Dragon Fox Patriarch was convinced, "If that's the case, then I will enter the forbidden place and meet the ancestors." Long Chen nodded and said, "All right. However, Patriarch, there might be some movement at the Grand Desolation Fort in the next few days. Patriarch, please instruct your clansmen to make plans before entering the forbidden area." The Dragon Fox Patriarch smiled. "Thank you so much, Lord Long Chen. You have helped my Dragon Fox clan so much. If my Dragon Fox clan can rise in the future, I will do my best to repay you. As long as Ali can awaken the Dragon clan bloodline in her body, the rise of the Dragon Fox clan is irreversible. You can rest assured, Patriarch." Long Chen replied with a smile. Hearing the words of the Dragon Fox clan's patriarch, the clansmen guarding the Dragon Fox clan were all grateful. Under such circumstances, everyone could see that without Long Chen, the Dragon Fox clan would not have the slightest hope of rising. Although they could continue to flaunt their strength, they would inevitably be exhausted within a few hundred years. The Dragon Fox Patriarch slowly turned around and shouted to his clansmen, "Dragon Fox clan, from today onwards, seal off the Heavenly Sun Mountain. No Dragon Fox is allowed to enter or leave. I will make a decision after I return from the forbidden place." "Yes, Patriarch," the clansmen replied. Long Chen looked at the Dragon Fox clan, which had regained its vitality, and felt somewhat gratified. If clan leader is able to arrange the matters related to the Dragon Fox clan, I will not stay here any longer. After Ali awakens her bloodline, please go to the Great Desolation Castle to look for me. Perhaps by then, I will have already become famous in the Great Desolation Castle. Who knows? Long Chen chuckled. The Dragon Fox Patriarch naturally understood Long Chen's meaning and immediately agreed. "I will have to trouble Lord Long Chen to take care of the movements in the Heavenly Sun Mountain in the next few days. I am afraid that the Dragon Wolf clan will take this opportunity to stir up trouble again. At that time, the Dragon Fox claness without me around, I think a lot of unnecessary things will happen." Long Chen nodded and said, "Of course. Don't worry, team leader. As long as we can guarantee that no one from the Dragon Fox clan will leave Heavenly Sun Mountain, the Dragon Fox clan will be absolutely safe until you come out." With Long Chen's promise, the patriarch of the Dragon Fox clan naturally felt a lot more at ease. After explaining some more matters to the Dragon Fox clan, he entered the forbidden area. Long Chen thought that it was time for him to leave and meet up with Jian Shisan. Just as Long Chen was about to take a step forward, Yu Ling and Yu Ye approached him. They opened their eyes wide and looked at Long Chen with reluctance. Big brother Long Chen, will you come back? Moon Spirit asked slowly. Long Chen said gently to Moon Spirit, of course I will. I'll come back when your sister Ollie comes out of the Forbidden Land. Moon Spirit grinned and said, then when Big Brother Long Chen comes back, will you marry Sister Ollie? As soon as he finished speaking, Long Chen was speechless for a moment. You can't say that casually, Long Chen said hesitantly. Moon Spirit and Yuya looked at each other and smiled. Long Chen hurriedly bid farewell to the two mischievous dragon fox sisters. He leaped up and left the heavenly Sun Mountain. After rising into the air, Long Chen felt that something was wrong, so he shouted at Moon Spirit and Yuya, who were on the ground, that depends on your sister Ollie. After saying that, Long Chen felt that it was appropriate. Hong Meng's spiritual energy surged and Long Chen rushed towards the Great Desolation Fort. In the Great Hall of the Great Desolation Fort, Lang Ming looked at Jian Shisan, who had a calm expression, with endless anger in his eyes. Many years ago, Lang Ming had practiced a spiritual technique. After mastering it, Lang Ming was confident that he could bring a dead person back to life. Although it would require some heavenly treasures, it was still a fair price for a life. Yes. Previously, on Heavenly Sun Mountain, Lang Ming had collected the corpse of Lang Yen, who had been killed by Jian Shisan, so that he could return to the Great Desolation Fort and use the heavenly treasures he had accumulated over the years to save his son's life. However, when Lang Ming arrived at the Great Desolation Fort, he realized that Jian Shisan's sword had not only severed the vitality of Lang Ming's physical body, but had also severed his entire spiritual soul. In other words, even if Lang Ming had 10 times the amount of heavenly treasures, he would not be able to bring Lang Yen back to life. Angered, Lang Ming went straight to the Fort Lord of the Great Desolation Fort, Shi Feng of the Draconic Lion Clan, and asked him to seek justice for him. Shi Feng was straightforward. He directly called Jian Shisan over, and the two confronted each other openly. 13. Did you really kill Lang Ming's son? The person who spoke exuded a strong majestic aura, as if there was an enormous evil aura emanating from his body. This was the Fort Lord of the Great Desolation Fort, Shi Feng. Jian Shisan looked at the furious Lang Ming and said, that's right. I did kill General Lang Ming's son. Shi Feng frowned slightly and said, I don't know if it was intentional or not, but as far as I know, I never knew that Lang Ming had a son. Jian Shisan naturally knew Shi Feng's true colors. Lang Ming was only a draconic wolf from the 3rd layer of Hong Meng Tianjing, while Jian Shisan was a human cultivator from the 5th layer of Hong Meng Tianjing. Moreover, he had cultivated an innate sword embryo. In a situation where strength was inferior, Shi Feng would naturally side with Jian Shisan, who was much stronger than Lang Ming. However, Jian Shisan did not want to accept this favor. Just the fact that he had planted a bloodline suppression curse on himself had already caused Sword 13 to no longer have any good feelings towards Shi Feng. Jian Shisan thought that once the bloodline suppression curse on him was removed by Long Chen, he must kill Shi Feng as soon as possible to avenge the grudge he had been forced to deal with Shi Feng for the past 5 years. Fort Master, you heard it clearly. Sword 13 did it on purpose. He clearly knows that Lang Yen is my son, and indeed doesn't care about the fact that we're both working hard for the Fort Master. He's clearly looking down on the Fort Master's dignity. Please give me an explanation, Fort Lord. An explanation? Lang Ming hurriedly roared. Regarding Jian Shisan's attitude, Shi Feng was also a little troubled. However, after weighing the two sides, Shi Feng still woke up and sided with Jian Shisan in this matter. After all, in the Long Meng polar region, how important was a cultivator from the 5th layer of Hong Meng Tianjing who was willing to bow his head and obey orders? Lionwind said, Lang Ming, allow me to say something fair. Now that Lang Yen is dead, he can't come back to life even if we argue. Moreover, Jian Shisan doesn't want to shed all pretense of cordiality with you. We're both working under me, so the two of us must not have any grudges. Chapter 1913. No one knew what Lang Ming would think after hearing Lian Feng's words. All in all, under Lian Feng's extreme favoritism, a life was really resolved by Lian Feng as a small matter and a small matter as a small matter. In this way, Lang Ming was truly disappointed in Shi Feng. Presumably, if it wasn't for the fact that Lang Ming possessed the same bloodline suppression curse as Sword 13, then Lang Ming would probably have dared to make a move against Shi Feng in the hall. Shi Feng's original intention was to use this opportunity to earn some goodwill from Jian Shisan, but Jian Shisan wouldn't give him this opportunity. In Jian Shisan's heart, he had never regarded Shi Feng as someone he could rely on. As night fell, the entire Great Desolation Castle became a little quieter after the shady transactions were completed. Sword 13 struck him with a sword, and his entire person directly swept into midair. The Great Desolation Castle occupied a large area. Even for a sword-controlling expert like Jian Shisan, it took him more than 10 breaths to find the place he wanted to go. Jian Shisan landed in an ordinary small courtyard. He didn't knock on the door, but waited in the courtyard. After a long time, the house lit up and a voice sounded at the same time, "Come in." Jian Shisan smiled and stepped into the house. In the house, an abnormally strong man sat at the table and said, "You've come to find me so late, what's the matter?" The corners of Jian Shisan's mouth curled up. "Isn't that obvious? If there's nothing, why would I come to find you so late at night? If word gets out, it might cause a misunderstanding." The robust man snorted coldly and said, "I heard that you directly killed Lang Ming's son today. You are truly extraordinary and bold." "It's nothing, it's not worth mentioning. If you didn't mention it, I would have almost forgotten." Jian Shisan pretended to be profound. The strong man shook his head. "Next time when you say something like this, remember to keep that smile on your face. It's quite embarrassing." Jian Shisan directly pretended not to hear this. "Xiang Yan, I have a good deal. I wonder if you're interested?" Jian Shisan said with a smile. The burly man called Xiang Yan frowned and said, "What business could you possibly have? I haven't seen you leave the Great Desolation Castle at all. Don't tell me you want to kill Lang Ming after killing Lang Yan?" Sword 13 hurriedly shook his head and said, "Could it be that I'm so unbearable in your heart?" Xiang Yan nodded. "To be honest, before I heard you speak for the first time, I always thought you were a mute human." Jian Shisan couldn't help feeling a little dizzy. All right, I won't beat around the bush with you. I'll get straight to the point. When I left the Great Desolation Castle this time, I met my master in the polar regions of Hongmeng. He was the one who had a conflict with Lang Yan. This is also the reason why I killed Lang Yan. However, this isn't the end. The important thing is that after my master saw the bloodline suppression seal on my body, he told me that he has a way to remove it, Jian Shisan said in a muddle-headed manner. Only after he finished speaking did Jian Shisan discover that he was still not good at speaking. It seemed that it would be best to be a mute in the future. Even though Jian Shisan didn't understand, Xiang Yan still understood the meaning. His expression changed abruptly. "Is this true? Is your master really confident in removing the bloodline suppression seal on our bodies?" Jian Shisan was very confident. He naturally didn't doubt Long Chen's words. Of course it's true. Otherwise, why would I tell you directly?" Xiang Yan was still a little doubtful. "So you're saying that the bloodline suppression seal on your body has been removed? Can you let me take a look?" Jian Shisan shook his head. "Although my master is capable, I didn't ask him to remove the seal on my body." "Why is that?" Xiang Yan's expression was a little mysterious. Jian Shisan smiled slightly and said, "According to what my master has said, the bloodline suppression curse on our bodies originates from the dragon tribe bloodline strength that has already awakened within Shi Feng's body. any dragon tribe bloodline strength that has yet to awaken within their bodies, or one could say that they are still inferior to Shifeng's dragon tribe bloodline strength after awakening, will be controlled by this curse. It is easy to remove it. All one needs to do is to use an even stronger dragon tribe bloodline strength to suppress it. My master possesses this kind of strength. Who is your master? There shouldn't be any draconic Yao in the polar regions of Hongmeng, right? Xiang Yan asked sternly. Jian Shisan said, since there can be draconic Yao, why can't there be humans with the same dragon bloodline? My master is such a person. Moreover, the dragon bloodline power in my master's body is far stronger than the one Shifeng planted in our bodies. The seal he planted contains the dragon bloodline power, so my master naturally has this kind of confidence. Xiang Yan was still skeptical. Then why didn't you remove the seal on your body? Why are you telling me this instead? As soon as he finished speaking, Jian Shisan slowly released his sword aura, faintly enveloping the entire courtyard. Xiang Yan was confused, but he didn't stop him. After Jian Shisan had prepared his defensive measures, he spoke in a sincere and heartfelt manner. It is because Master has told me that the bloodline suppression curse seal on our bodies is a little related to Shifeng on a certain level. The instant we come into contact with the curse seal on our bodies, Shifeng will immediately sense it. In this way, Shifeng will definitely pay attention to other people who have not come into contact with the bloodline curse seal. Therefore, in this case, it is likely that the bloodline suppression curse seal on my body will be removed and there might be an additional one on your body. His seal will be gone. Hearing this, Xiang Yan finally believed Jian Shisan. Xiang Yan was originally a cultivation genius of the Draconic Elephant clan. He had been outstanding in the clan since he was young. However, during one of the clan's training sessions, Xiang Yan got into a conflict with some clan members who didn't like Xiang Yan. During that conflict, Xiang Yan was severely injured. In a fit of rage, Xiang Yan ignored the advice of the clan elders and tried his best to kill the clan member who opposed him. As a result, Xiang Yan was expelled from the Draconic Elephant clan. After that, Xiang Yan, who was at his wit's end, sought refuge with Shifeng. At first, he thought Shifeng would treat him as one of his own. However, when a bloodline suppression seal suddenly appeared on his body, Xiang Yan came to a realization. However, it was already too late. With the bloodline suppression seal's imprisonment, unless Xiang Yan's strength surpassed Shifeng's, he would have to work hard for Shifeng for the rest of his life. And now Jian Shisan, whom he wasn't very familiar with in the Great Desolation Castle, was telling him that there was a chance to break the seal. Chapter 1914. For the current Xiang Yan, this was a heaven-defying opportunity. As long as he could break the bloodline suppression seal on his body, he wouldn't be held back by Shifeng in the Longmeng Polar region, given his 4th-level Hongmeng Tianjing abilities. Xiang Yan was different from Jian Shisan. When Jian Shisan was in the Hongmeng Yuanjie, Shifeng had used his cultivation level to suppress him and forcibly planted a bloodline suppression seal on him. On the other hand, Xiang Yan had been in the Hongmeng Tianjing when Shifeng had done something behind the scenes and waited for Xiang Yan to react. By the time Shifeng had reacted, it had already been too late. Therefore, compared to Jian Shisan, Xiang Yan's hatred for Shifeng was even more intense. A Hongmeng Tianjing's Longxiang Polar region was an existence that could command the winds and clouds of an area, even in the Panmeng Polar region, which had always been the enemy of the Longmeng Polar region. Shifeng's cultivation base was at the 7th level of the Hongmeng Heavenly Realm. Although Xiang Yan was not confident that he would be able to gain an advantage over Shifeng in terms of cultivation base, since he was already at the 4th level of the Hongmeng Heavenly Realm, Shifeng was no match for him. No matter how strong Shifeng was, as long as it wasn't the Hongmeng Dao ancestor, it would be extremely difficult for him to kill Xiang Yan. Therefore, breaking the bloodline suppression seal on his body was of utmost importance to Xiang Yin. Thinking up to this point, Xiang Yin asked, "So, what did you mean when you first proposed that deal?" When he heard this, Jian Shisan knew that Xiang Yin was tempted. Thus, he went with the flow and said, "Xiang Yin, have you ever thought about how many people in the Great Desolation Castle sincerely submit to Shifeng?" Xiang Yin pondered for a moment before saying, "First of all, the 2 vice lords of the Dragon Lion tribe are definitely obedient. Among the 4 great generals, you and I definitely aren't. Lang Ming has just been treated this way by Shifeng, so he probably won't use his full strength in the future. As for the next one, Bao Yang of the Dragon Leopard tribe, it's hard to say." After hearing Xiang Yan's analysis, Jian Shisan nodded and said, "Then do you think that with our strength, we can defeat Shifeng and his subordinates and be promoted to Vice Fort Master?" As soon as he finished speaking, a look of shock appeared on Xiang Yan's face. He probably hadn't expected Jian Shisan to have such a bold idea. However, since he had already mentioned the removal of the bloodline suppression curse on his body, it wasn't that bold to talk about this matter. Xiang Yan shook his head and said, "The 2 vice lords of the Dragon Lion clan are only at the 5th layer of Hong Meng Tianjing. If we really fight, they might not be a match for the 2 of us. As long as it's Bao Yang and Lang Ming, we don't have to take action. There are people above who can temporarily restrain Shifeng. I think it's more than enough for us to deal with those 2 vice fort masters." Hearing this, Jian Shisan's expression became somewhat solemn. He said, "Restraining Shifeng isn't an easy task. My original plan was to wait for us to deal with all of his subordinates before besieging Shifeng. From the looks of it, it won't be easy. It's coming true." "Your thinking is far too simple." Xiang Yin sighed and said, "The 2 vice fort masters are members of the Dragon Lion tribe and naturally have a secret mental communication method with Shifeng. This method will not work at all. Moreover, our current plan is not going to work. Besides, this plan is only based on the fact that Lang Ming and Bao Yang haven't taken action yet. If Lang Ming and Bao Yang interfere when we take action, I don't think we have any chance of winning." Jian Shisan nodded and said, "How much do you know about Bao Yang?" Xiang Yan shook his head and said, "He followed Shifeng many years before I did. He usually lives in seclusion even more than you. Although his strength isn't as high as yours and mine, he's still a 4th layer Hong Meng Tianjing expert. Maybe we can try to instigate Bao Yang to rebel." Jian Shisan pondered. Xiang Yan frowned and said, "I don't think it will go too smoothly. I don't know much about Bao Yang. As for whether he has a bloodline suppression seal like yours and mine, it's hard to say. We still have to try," Jian Shisan said with a serious expression, "otherwise we have no chance of winning." Xiang Yan was a little puzzled and said, "Even if we instigate Bao Yang to rebel, our previous plan has succeeded. When we besiege Shifeng together, do you have the confidence to defeat him?" Jian Shisan smiled and said, "Of course I have the confidence. If I didn't have some trump cards, I wouldn't have come to you so directly." "What is it? Can you let me see it?" Xiang Yan didn't quite dare to believe it. After all, in the Hong Meng firmament realm, the difference between each level was like a chasm. The reason why Shifeng was able to rule the Great Desolation Castle for such a long time was because of his strength at the 7th level of the Hong Meng firmament realm. Jian Shisan smiled faintly when he heard these words. He directly took out his longsword. The biting cold primordial chi within it descended and immediately wrapped around the house. The dragon pearl essence contained in the Hong Meng chi scattered in all directions, and the power of the dragon bloodline pressed down on Xiang Yan like a storm. Xiang Yan screamed in pain. Jian Shisan hurriedly withdrew his long sword, and the dragon pearl essence that could pose a great threat to the dragonborn slowly faded away. "How was it? Was my method effective?" Jian Shisan said with a smile. Xiang Yan calmed down for a while and hurriedly said, "Your long sword can suppress my bloodline?" Jian Shi nodded and said, "That's right. My long sword contains a true dragon pearl, and the power of the dragon bloodline within it is infinitely close to the descent of a true dragon. In other words, in the Long Meng polar region, almost all the dragon-born demons will be affected by it. Under my sword, all of the dragon-born demons will suffer the same bloodline suppression as you did before." Xiang Yan was a little shocked and said, "That's true. The dragon bloodline power in Shifeng's body is only slightly stronger than mine. It will definitely be suppressed under your sword. Therefore, as long as we can carry out the final step of our plan and kill Shifeng, we will have a chance," Jian Shi said seriously. Xiang Yan let out a long sigh and said, "How about this? I will try to investigate Baoyang's situation. Why don't we set a time to meet your human master? I'm actually quite interested in becoming your master." "Then, what's the matter? How powerful is the human race?" With Xiang Yan's response, Jian Shi also let out a long sigh and said, "Very well. How about this? Regardless of whether Baoyang succeeds or not, we will meet under the Great Desolation Castle in 3 days. At that time, I will ask my master to remove the bloodline suppression seal on us." Chapter 1915. After wandering around the Great Desolation Castle for a long time, Long Chen discovered that there were many human cultivators in the castle. Could it be that these people had been planted with a bloodline suppression curse by the castle master, Shifeng? Gradually, as his observation deepened, Long Chen discovered the reason why these human cultivators were in the Great Desolation Castle. It turned out that a spatial formation had been built in the Great Desolation Castle to travel between the Hong Meng polar region and the Pang Meng polar region. Here, human cultivators from the Hong Meng polar region or the Pang Meng polar region could quickly enter the hinterland of the Long Meng polar region. This was the place where many dragon-born demons resided. As for the reason why these humans were here, it was self-evident. They hunted down dragon-born demons for their Hong Meng demon crystals and then teleported back through the spatial formation in the Great Desolation Castle. After that, they could either buy the Hong Meng demon crystals or use them for their own cultivation. Both were profitable transactions. The Great Desolation Castle acted as a middleman here. Presumably, just the toll collected from these human cultivators was enough to feed the entire Great Desolation Castle. This kind of transaction was really too shameless. Although the dragonborn demons were jointly ruled by the 4 major demon clans, as Moon Spirit had told Long Chen, the Dragon Python clan was hibernating and the Dragon Lion clan was high up in the air. As long as the dragon lions of their clan were not harmed, they would turn a blind eye. Besides, the lord of the Great Desolation Castle was the Draconic Lion Clan's Lion Clan. Presumably, Lion Clan had sent a lot of greetings to their clan. The Dragon Elephant clan was willing to manage these matters, but their habitat was too far away from the Great Desolation Castle. It was beyond their reach. The 9 Nether Phoenix clan was now in constant internal disputes, so they had no intention of interfering in the matters of the Great Desolation Castle. Because of this, the Great Desolation Castle gradually expanded its business, which was equivalent to human trafficking. With Shifeng, a person in the 7th layer of Hong Meng Tianjing, holding the fort, even if the Dragon Elephant clan wanted to interfere, Shifeng was not very afraid. Moreover, he had 6 Hong Meng Tianjing experts working for him. The Dragon Elephant clan. How could a clan fight? It had to be said that Shifeng, a heretic who was once expelled from the Dragon Lion clan, could rely on his own strength to earn such a large foundation in the Longmeng Tianjing polar region. However, Long Chen firmly believed that Shifeng's plan had only made one thing wrong. He had been obsessed with sword Dao and had already cultivated the sword embryo Jian Shisan, who was originally obsessed with the sword Dao and had already cultivated the sword embryo. Jian Shi's killing intent. The desolation Chun. Therefore, no matter what, Long Chun had to help Jian Shisan get rid of Shifeng. Otherwise, it would be easy to leave Shifeng as an inner demon in Jian Shisan's heart. As a result, Jian Shisan's strength would be stagnant in the future. After figuring out all the terrain of the Great Desolation Castle, Long Chun stayed around the castle and waited for Jian Shisan. At noon the next day, Long Chun, who had been observing the surroundings of the Great Desolation Castle, suddenly sensed a surge of piercingly cold sword qi. He immediately leaped up with a smile and directly intercepted Jian Shisan, who wanted to go in the direction of Heavenly Sun Mountain. Jian Shisan saw Long Chun and was rather surprised. "Master, you're here?" Long Chun couldn't be bothered to explain these matters to Jian Shisan. He immediately got straight to the point and asked, "How is the progress of the person you said you wanted to rope in?" Jian Shisan saw that it wasn't a good place to talk, so he brought Long Chun to a dense forest. Jian Shisan scanned the surroundings with his mind and said, "Master, don't worry. The 4 great war generals of the Great Desolation Castle have already fallen apart." Long Chun was somewhat confused. "What's the situation?" Jian Shisan said, "Master, you may not know this, but when I returned to the Great Desolation Castle 2 days ago, Lang Ming actually insisted on bringing me to the castle lord, Shifeng, to reason with him. Who knew that Shifeng didn't give any face to Lang Ming at all. Even if I killed Lang Ming's son, Lang Yen, nothing would happen to me." Long Chun smiled faintly. "In that case, Shifeng can be considered to have collapsed in Lang Ming's heart. When we deal with Shifeng in the future, even if Lang Ming takes action, he won't use his full strength." Jian Shisan said disdainfully, "So what if he uses his full strength? Under my sword, Lang Ming is just SOSO. All right, don't talk nonsense with me. What's the situation with the other 2 war generals? Also, didn't you say that there are 2 other vice fort lords in the Great Desolation Castle besides Shifeng?" Jian Shisan chuckled. "As for the other 2 war generals, one is Xiang Yen of the Dragonesque Elephant Clan, who is completely on my side. As for Bao Yang of the Dragonesque Leopard Clan, I don't know the details yet. However, Xiang Yen told me that Bao Yang already has thoughts in this regard. However, he wants to wait until he meets you personally before making a final decision. It seems that he doesn't really believe that you can remove the bloodline suppression curse on our bodies. As for the other 2 vice fort lords, they are both from the Dragon Clan. The Lion Clan is a member of Shifeng's clan, and they are both at the 5th layer of Hong Meng Tianjing. I have no intention of roping them in at all." Hearing these words, Long Chun nodded and said, "You did the right thing. Since he is a member of the Lion Wind Clan, I believe that he will definitely stand on the Lion Wind Clan's side. Rashly trying to rope him in might alert the enemy." Jian Shisan said, "Master, Xiang Yen of the Dragonesque Elephant Clan and I have agreed to gather together tonight. After that, you will take action to remove the bloodline suppression curse on our bodies. After that, even if Shifeng notices, we will still be able to react." "Yes," Long Chun said thoughtfully, "since Shifeng is at the 7th layer of Hong Meng Tianjing, his strength will definitely far surpass ours. Moreover, the 2 vice fort lords cannot be underestimated. We still have to have a clear plan. We can't leave. We'll take it one step at a time. Master, I want to ask, with your current strength at the 5th layer of Hong Meng Tianjing, can you deal with a master at the 5th layer of Hong Meng Tianjing?" Jian Shisan asked weakly. If others heard this question, they would definitely think it was nonsense. However, for Long Chun, it was not a big deal. Long Chun's expression was somewhat solemn. It's definitely impossible to defeat him, but it's definitely more than enough to hold him back. Chapter 1916. Jian Shisan understood tacitly and said with a smile, "If I can hold back a master from the 5th floor of Hongmeng Tianjing, then can master hold back Shifeng from the 7th floor of Hongmeng Tianjing?" Long Chen was slightly surprised, but after thinking about it carefully, he understood Sword 13's meaning. He said, "What you mean is that I will delay Shifeng, and you and Long Xiang will deal with those 2 vice-fort masters together. After you succeed, I will hand Shifeng over to you to deal with?" Jian Shisan nodded and said, "If it doesn't work, then we will think of another way. Long Xiang hasn't made his decision clearly." Long Chen said with a grave expression, "If it's just holding him back, it should be possible. Master, I'm just making a casual remark. You've been in the Star Pool world for 5 years, and it's understandable that you're weaker than me now. However, it's too risky for you to deal with Shifeng, who's at the 7th level of the Hongmeng Firmament Realm, with your strength at the Primordial Realm." 3 stopped him. Long Chen shook his head and said, "Don't tell me you've forgotten what's the trump card that you're confident of dealing with Shifeng?" Jian Shisan immediately realized what Long Chen said. He said, "Master, can the power of the Dragon Clan bloodline in your body really suppress Shifeng?" Long Chen's face darkened. He said, "If not, I can't even lift the bloodline suppression curse on your body. How can I talk about this plan?" Jian Shisan hurriedly nodded his head and said, "Then I'll believe Master this time. How about this? I think we shouldn't talk here. Long Xiang and I have agreed to meet this afternoon. I think they should have rushed over by this time. Master. Master, should we go now?" "Lead the way," Long Chen said slowly. Without further ado, Jian Shisan led Long Chen through the dense forest below the Great Desolation Fort. Because they were afraid that others would discover the primordial phenomenon here, the 2 of them didn't use the slightest bit of primordial spirit energy. Nearly an hour later, the sky darkened. Jian Shisan brought Long Chen to a slightly spacious hillside. Looking down from the hillside, 2 burly figures were standing beside a bonfire, as if they were waiting for someone. One of the 2 burly figures was Dragon Elephant Xiang Yan, who had a secret relationship with Jian Shisan, and the other was Bao Yang from the Dragon Leopard clan, who had been roped in by Xiang Yan a few days ago. Previously, Xiang Yan wasn't familiar with Bao Yang. It wasn't until they spent the entire night talking that Xiang Yan finally understood Bao Yang's past. Bao Yang's experience could be said to be the most miserable among the 4 great generals of the Great Desolation Fort. When Bao Yang was a child in the Dragon Leopard clan, he was considered a cultivation genius with some fame. Almost everyone in the clan was looking forward to Bao Yang's future. However, when Bao Yang went out with the elders of the clan to gain experience, Shifeng, who was now in the Great Desolation Fort, suddenly attacked. Without any explanation, he killed all the elders of the Yang Leopard clan, leaving only the talented Bao Yang alive. After that, Shifeng took Bao Yang away and planted a bloodline suppression curse on the heavily injured Bao Yang. After recovering from his injuries, Bao Yang had no choice but to work for Shifeng in order to survive. Of course, after Bao Yang's strength increased, he also had the intention of rebelling. However, after several assassination attempts and escape plans failed without exception, Bao Yang's will became depressed and he allowed himself to be controlled by Shifeng. After all, if Bao Yang wanted to break free from Shifeng's control, he had to remove the bloodline suppression curse on his body, or he had to surpass Shifeng in terms of cultivation. However, neither of these 2 paths would work. All these years, Bao Yang had almost decided that this was how he would be for the rest of his life. Therefore, no matter who it was, Bao Yang never showed any intention of getting close to anyone. Even after Xiang Yan told Bao Yang that there was someone who could remove the bloodline suppression curse and planned to assassinate Shifeng in the Great Desolation Fort, Bao Yang still didn't dare to make a rash decision. Therefore, Bao Yang decided to personally meet the person who could remove the bloodline suppression curse for him. Xiang Yan saw Jian Shisan as soon as he walked up the hill. "They're here," Xiang Yan said to Bao Yang. Bao Yang narrowed his eyes, and the aura of Hong Meng around him slightly condensed. Jian Shisan also saw Xiang Yan and hurriedly led Long Chen over. After getting closer to Xiang Yan and Bao Yang, Long Chen finally got a clear look at the two burly men's faces. Xiang Yan was the kind of person who looked rough but meticulous. He probably had a plan in mind when doing things. As for Bao Yang, although he was also quick-witted, it could be seen from his depressed face that Bao Yang was a frustrated person. Jian Shisan hurriedly introduced Xiang Yan to Bao Yang. "This is my master, Long Chen." As soon as he said that, Xiang Yan and Bao Yang, who had been sizing up Long Chen, both frowned. This was especially true for Bao Yang, whose gloomy face had a hint of gloom added to it. Xiang Yan said in disappointment, "Jian Shisan, if I'm not wrong, your master should be at the 5th layer of Hong Meng Yuan Jia, right?" Jian Shisan smiled and nodded. Bao Yang's expression was even uglier. Xiang Yan said, "Is he really confident that he can remove the bloodline suppression curse on us?" Without waiting for Jian Shisan's reply, Long Chen took a step forward and said with a smile, "Although I'm only at the 5th layer of Hong Meng Yuan Jia, my true strength is comparable to Hong Meng Tianjing." Bao Yang furrowed his brows. Xiang Yan looked at Jian Shisan's serious expression and said sternly, "Why don't you show me? Otherwise, I really don't know what to do." Long Chen nodded. Immediately after, Long Chen circulated the Hong Meng in his body and released the power of the heavenly dragon bloodline in his body. The rich heavenly dragon power directly pressed down on the hillside. The bloodline suppression of the ancient dragon clan was immediately displayed here. Both Xiang Yan and Bao Yang were dragonborn monsters with the dragon clan's bloodline. Although the dragon clan's bloodline in their bodies was strong, it could not be compared to Long Chen's awakened heavenly dragon power. When the first wisp of the heavenly dragon's power landed on Xiang Yan and Bao Yang, the two from the Hong Meng firmament realm immediately felt a wave of mental oppression. Just as they were about to activate their Hong Meng energy to counterattack, they found that they were able to use it under the suppression of the bloodline. The power of the bloodline suppression curse was only 70% of its usual strength. Both of them furrowed their brows and looked like they couldn't bear it. Jian Shisan didn't have the dragon clan's bloodline in his body, so he naturally couldn't feel Xiang Yan and Bao Yang's pain. When Long Chen noticed that Xiang Yan and Bao Yang were circulating the Hong Meng power, he hurriedly retracted the heavenly dragon power. Xiang Yan and Bao Yang immediately relaxed. "I don't know. Do you feel better now?" Long Chen said with a smile. Chapter 1917. Recalling the extremely fierce bloodline suppression just now, Xiang Yan couldn't help but frown. The way he looked at Long Chen was much more respectful than before. How could Xiang Yan not be in awe of Huang Xiaolong's ability to exert such pressure on him and Bao Yang, who were both 4th-level Hong Meng firmament realm experts? Moreover, Huang Xiaolong was only a 5th-level Hong Meng primordial realm cultivator. Bao Yang's expression was solemn. The slightly dispirited aura around him gradually dissipated, and his whole person exuded a spirit that he had never had before. "Didn't you hear what I said? I just asked, do you have confidence in your hearts now? Or do you believe that I can remove the bloodline suppression seal on your bodies?" Long Chen asked again. Sensing that the atmosphere between these people had become a little strange and solemn, Jian Shisan hurriedly came out to smooth things over. "Xiang Yan, Bao Yang, you have seen my master's ability. Since he can become Jian Shisan's master, he naturally has a foundation that can't be underestimated. The bloodline suppression just now is just a trivial method. You can rest assured that I won't lie about what I said." As soon as he finished speaking, Xiang Yan hurriedly laughed and said, "Brother Long Chen, please don't take it to heart. It's just that the matter between us and Jian Shisan is too important. We can't be careless about any part of it." Bao Yang's expression was solemn. Long Chen also expressed his understanding and said, "Since the two of you are willing to join forces with us, I won't hold back. I am confident that I can remove the bloodline suppression seal on your bodies. However, if I don't want Shifeng to notice it, I will interfere with the others. I plan to remove the bloodline suppression seal on the three of you at the same time. At that time, even if Shifeng can detect it, it will be too late." Hearing this, Xiang Yan was a little surprised. He said, "Are you sure you can remove the bloodline suppression seal on the three of us at the same time?" Long Chen smiled and said, "It's just a restriction imprint that was poured into your body by the power of the dragon bloodline. The reason why you couldn't strip it off before was because the power of the dragon bloodline in your body was far inferior to the power of the lion wind in your body. The dragon clan's bloodline power above is very powerful. However, the way I see it, Lion Feng's dragon clan's bloodline power is the same as how Lion Feng views you all. It's simply too insignificant." Even if Long Chen did not have much confidence, under such circumstances, he still had to maintain his dignity. Xiang Yan's gaze on Long Chen grew increasingly solemn. He said, "Since Brother Long Chen is willing to lend a helping hand, Xiang Yan can't thank you enough." Long Chen nodded and said, "All right, don't talk so much. Quickly prepare, I'll remove the curse seal for you." After Long Chen said this, Jian Shisan was the first to sit down cross-legged. At the same time, he took off his clothes and revealed the bloodline suppression seal that Shifeng planted on his back. Seeing this scene, Xiang Yan and Bao Yang hesitated for a moment before also sitting down cross-legged like Jian Shisan and revealing their bloodline suppression seal in front of Long Chen. Looking at the three complicated seals that faintly exuded the power of the dragon bloodline, Long Chen's expression turned solemn. Long Chen first tried to urge a little of his heavenly dragon power, then slowly poured it into the three seals. At the moment of contact, Long Chen immediately sensed a trace of a pushing force from the seals. Long Chen knew that this kind of fluctuation was definitely the mind imprint that Shifeng left on the three of them to detect their movements. In other words, Long Chen's simple action had already let Shifeng know. Long Chen must speed up. Although he didn't know how to break the bloodline suppression seal, he had to try his best. Heavenly dragon power operated, and the whole hillside was enveloped again. Heavenly dragon power directly added to the seals, and under Long Chen's power, it suddenly bombarded the depths of the seals. The three screamed at the same time. Long Chen ignored him. This was the most crucial moment for them. After the heavenly dragon power invaded the bloodline curse seal, Long Chen directly sensed the power of the dragon clan. Compared to Long Chen's heavenly dragon power, the power in the seal was inferior in quality. Long Chen's heavenly dragon power, but this power was stronger. Even though most of its power had been suppressed by Long Chen's heavenly dragon power by virtue of its bloodline advantage, it was still difficult for Long Chen to completely eliminate it in a short period of time. Perhaps it was because Long Chen had activated the seals of the three people at the same time, but since he had already done so, he had to find another way. Long Chen exerted his power again, and the heavenly dragon bloodline in his body directly radiated a majestic power that was only emitted when Long Chen's bloodline awakened. The power in the seal struggled to resist, and Long Chen's eyes emitted a chill. Then, the Hong Meng spirit chi around him cooperated with the heavenly dragon power and withdrew. "Break!" Long Chen growled. At the same time, the heavenly dragon power around Long Chen was operated to the extreme at this moment. The final blow. As Long Chen's growl fell, the dragon bloodline power in the seal of the three people shattered with a loud bang. Almost at the same time, the layer of complicated runes on the three people suddenly dissipated. Long Chen hurriedly withdrew the heavenly dragon power and sat on the ground. In this way, it was even more exhausting than a battle. The three people woke up from the severe pain and immediately felt a sense of physical and mental comfort. This, is it really removed? Xiang Yan stood up naked with an incredulous look on his face. Bao Yang silently put on his clothes, and Jian Shisan helped Long Chen up from the ground. Long Chen took a few deep breaths and said, "It should have been removed. At least the power of the dragon bloodline that Lion Feng left in your body has been consumed by me. Even if the curse mark hasn't completely disappeared, Lion Feng can't rely on it. The seal has been manipulating you." Xiang Yan was overjoyed. He hurriedly cupped his fists at Long Chen and said, "I, Xiang Yan, will remember Brother Long Chen's kindness and will do my best to repay it in the future." Bao Yang also cupped his fists. Long Chen slowly soothed the chaotic aura around him and said, "Don't be happy yet. There's another piece of news that may not be good for us." Jian Shisan, who had already put on his clothes, asked, "Could it be that Shifeng has already noticed it?" Long Chen nodded and said, "Shifeng should have known at the very beginning. At this time, Shifeng should have already led his men here. It should be some time before Shifeng arrives here." Chapter 1918. Hearing this, Xiang Yan, who had already removed the curse seal, said in a clear voice, "So be it. Now that I'm not bound by this filthy bloodline suppression seal, it won't be that easy for Shifeng to kill me." Bao Yang furrowed his brows thoughtfully. Long Chen shook his head and said, "Our plan this time isn't just to let Lion Feng attack us after removing the curse seal on our bodies. Lion Feng has suppressed you for so long, it's time to settle some grudges." After Long Chen finished speaking, Bao Yang, who had been silent all this time, opened his mouth. Lion Feng is in the 7th layer of Hong Meng Tianjing, and is extremely difficult to deal with. Moreover, the 2 deputy lords of the Great Desolation Fort are loyal and are also in the 5th layer of Hong Meng Tianjing. As far as I know, Jian Shisan and Lang Ming caused a ruckus between Jian Shisan and Lang Ming. After Lang Ming caused a ruckus, Lion Feng personally went to find Lang Ming and seemed to have offered him many generous conditions to ensure Lang Ming's loyalty. Hearing this, several people couldn't help but be shocked, especially Jian Shisan. Back in the main hall, Lion Feng was extremely partial to Jian Shisan on the surface and didn't give Lang Ming any face at all. Who would have thought that he actually went to appease him in secret? It was really a good move. Long Chen said with a solemn expression, "If that's the case, what we're going to face is the 7th layer lord of Hong Meng Tianjing, the 2 deputy lords of the 5th layer of Hong Meng Tianjing, and the 4th layer of Hong Meng Tianjing, Lang Ming. 4 against 4? As soon as he finished speaking, Xiang Yan and Bao Yang looked at each other, thinking, even if you have bloodline suppression, do you really think you can fight a Hong Meng Tianjing powerhouse with the strength of Hong Meng Yuanjie? Jian Shisan said, "My plan is that one of the 4 of us will pin down Lion Feng, while the other 3 will kill, or rather defeat, the 3 Hong Meng Tianjing powerhouses of the Great Desolation Fort. After that, the 4 of us will join forces to besiege Lion Feng. Perhaps only then will we have a chance of winning." Xiang Yan nodded and said, "Your plan sounds feasible, but who among us can hold back Shifeng? He must have let the strongest person do this dangerous thing. However, in this way, he would be able to kill the rest with thunderous methods. The other 3 Hong Meng Tianjing experts won't have an easy time." The atmosphere between the 4 of them froze for a moment. Long Chen said, "Why don't I hold back Shifeng, and the 3 of you deal with the remaining 3 Hong Meng Tianjing masters? Are you confident?" Xiang Yan sucked in a breath of cold air and hurriedly said, "Lion wins strength. Brother Long Chen, is this a joke?" Long Chen's face was solemn as he said, "Don't worry, it's just holding him back. We don't need to defeat him. Although I don't have the ability to do so, I still have some confidence in holding him back for a while. Looking at Jian Shisan's unworried expression, Bao Yang seemed to understand something. Jian Shisan said, "All right then, let my master hold back Shifeng, and the three of us will deal with the remaining Lang Ming and the two Dragon Lion Vice Lords." Bao Yang said slowly, "Leave Lang Ming to me. I really can't handle the Vice Lord." Mammoth Flame and Jian Shisan didn't have any objections and nodded at the same time. Xiang Yan said to Jian Shisan, "Then the two of us will deal with the Vice Lord. It should be very simple." Looking at Xiang Yan's smug expression, Long Chen couldn't help but feel bitter in his heart. Holding back a Hong Meng Tianjing Stage 7 expert was a tough nut to crack. Just as the four of them discussed their strategy, a black cloud came pressing over from the distant horizon. Rich Hong Meng's spiritual energy scattered in all directions, and a wave of pressure swept over vaguely. Xiang Yan frowned and said, "They're here." The four of them hurriedly made preparations. As the black cloud approached, Long Chen could clearly see the person on top of the black cloud. There were four of them, with Lang Ming standing on the side. The others were probably the Fort Lord, Shifeng, and the two Vice Lords. It was likely that the person on the black cloud had also seen Long Chen's group standing on the mountain slope. Immediately, a cry was emitted. "Why are the four great battle generals of my great desolate fort standing together with this outsider whom we have never seen before?" The person who spoke was probably the Fort Lord, Shifeng. Xiang Yan didn't have time to discuss with Long Chen and the others. He immediately leaped up and floated in the air. Xiang Yan said sternly, "Shifeng, you've suppressed me for so many years. Now that the curse on my body has been removed, what can you do to me?" As soon as he finished speaking, Shifeng smiled slightly. Lang Ming, who was at the side, was slightly surprised. Shifeng smiled and said, "Xiang Yan, if you think that the curse is a bad thing for you, you can come find me personally. I'll help you remove it. At that time, you'll still be one of the four great generals of the Great Desolation Fort, and we brothers can continue to live carefree lives. Why? Wouldn't it hurt our brotherhood if we had to find an outsider to help us?" Xiang Yan cursed. "Why do these words come out of your mouth? It's like stinking swamp water. Shifeng, ask yourself honestly, have you really treated me as a brother all these years? I, Xiang Yan, am just a dog to you." Shifeng didn't respond. Instead, it was the Vice Lord beside him who said, "Since you know you're a dog, you should have the awareness of being a dog. I didn't expect a dog like you to not stay at home and guard the fort, but to have an affair with an outsider. Since you came into contact with the curse, don't tell me you want to rebel?" Xiang Yan snorted coldly and said, "Cut the crap. I can't beat you when it comes to talking. If you have the ability, then let's see whose fist is harder." Hearing this, the Vice Fort Master who spoke earlier glanced at Shifeng. Shifeng nodded with a gloomy expression. Immediately, the Vice Fort Master left the black cloud and headed straight for Xiang Yan. Xiang Yan's figure flashed. After a few exchanges with the Vice Lord, he gradually went into the distance and began the fierce battle. The battle between the two Hong Meng Firmament Realm experts would be a spectacular sight. However, Long Chen wouldn't be able to see it. After all, Long Chen was going to fight against the Hong Meng Tianjing expert. After Xiang Yan left, Bao Yang exchanged glances with Long Chen, then jumped up and shouted at Lang Ming, "Lang Ming, do you dare to fight me?" Lang Ming was a little frightened. Bao Yang's strength was in the fourth layer of Hong Meng Tianjing, which was one layer higher than him. Looking at the hesitant Lang Ming, Shifeng said in a low voice, "Try your best to stall for as long as you can. After this battle, I will remove the bloodline curse on you." Hearing these words, Lang Ming also gained strength. Immediately, he leaped forward and charged towards Bao Yang. With the advantage of strength, Bao Yang naturally wasn't afraid. He immediately started fighting with Lang Ming. Chapter 1919. Both Xiang Yin and Bao Yang had already found their opponent. Jian Shisan turned to Long Chen and said in a low voice, "Master, tell me the truth. Do you really have the confidence to stall Shi Feng?" Long Chen nodded and comforted, "Even if you don't trust anyone, you have to trust your master. A battle to the death is not a big deal." Jian Shisan could only nod when he saw Long Chen's grave expression. Soon after, the sword qi around his body became piercingly cold as he leapt into the air. As if he had been waiting for Sword 13 for a long time, the instant he saw Sword 13 leap into the air, Shi Feng shouted in a clear voice, "13, ask yourself honestly. Amongst the 4 great generals in the Great Desolation Fort, I treat you the best. Could it be that you've steeled your heart? Have you made up your mind to betray me?" Jian Shisan could not be bothered with him. He coldly shouted, "Shi Feng, we will settle our debt slowly. Right now, I do not wish to fight with you. Ask the person beside you if he has the guts to come out and fight with me." A look of terror immediately appeared on the face of the vice fort master beside Shi Feng. It was likely that he had some understanding of Jian Shisan's strength. Shi Feng seemed to have long sensed the plan of Jian Shisan's group. However, he did not stop them at all. Instead, he seemed to be intentionally or unintentionally helping Jian Shisan achieve his goal. Shi Feng looked at the vice fort master beside him and said, "Just stall him. If you can't beat him, run. There is no need to worry about anything else." After receiving the order, the vice fort master beside Shi Feng leapt forward and headed straight for Jian Shisan. Another pair of figures began to fight. Long Chen did not try to hide anything. He watched as Shi Feng slowly rose into the air above the black clouds. Shi Feng frowned and said, "Since we are about to fight, why don't you reveal your true cultivation level? Being so secretive is a little like giving away 300 taels of silver here." Long Chen smiled faintly, naturally understanding Shi Feng's meaning. In Lian Feng's eyes, Long Chen's strength must be the strongest among the 4 of them. However, based on what he sensed, Long Chen's strength was only at the 5th level of Hong Meng Yuan Jie. This was a little unreasonable. Long Chen said, "What's there to be secretive about? You're not mistaken. My strength is at the 5th level of Hong Meng Yuan Jie." Upon hearing these words, Shi Feng smiled playfully and said, "You want to stall me on the 5th floor of Hong Meng Yuan Jie?" Long Chen smiled. "Can't I?" Shi Feng hurriedly nodded and said, "Sure, why not? This method of yours is indeed a little interesting. However, do you really think that my subordinates will be so easily defeated? Moreover, do you really think that you can hold me back? Oh yeah. I want to see how strong you are at the 5th level of Hong Meng Yuan Jie." As soon as he finished speaking, the Hong Meng spiritual energy around Shi Feng's body fluctuated faintly. Suddenly, the Hong Meng astral winds continuously bombarded Long Chen's body. Although Long Chen was in pain, it was not good for him to show it. He showed too much emotion. This battle was probably the most difficult one Long Chen had faced since he came to the 9 polar regions. Long Chen's opponent was a Hong Meng Tianjie's 7th level Long Shi, while Long Chen was only at the 5th level of Hong Meng Yuan Jie. Just as Long Chen was circulating the energy around his body, Shi Feng's figure moved slightly, and a Hong Meng wave appeared in front of him. The Hong Meng wave slowly condensed, and in less than 2 breaths of time, it condensed into a thick and strong Hong Meng energy. Without much of a response, the Hong Meng energy directly blasted towards Long Chen. Amidst the biting cold astral winds of Hong Meng, this Hong Meng energy, whose power could not be underestimated, suddenly appeared directly above Long Chen. Just by feeling the scattered energy from the Hong Meng energy, Long Chen found it difficult to use the energy around his body. Almost in an instant, before Long Chen could react, the Hong Meng energy directly pressed down. Its speed was so fast that it was almost instantaneous. Long Chen's entire body was directly pressed to the ground by this energy. For a moment, the dust on the ground surged, and the night became much darker. Shifeng looked at the momentum on the ground and frowned. Could it be that simple? Shifeng had a trace of doubt in his heart. Indeed, with his strength of the 7th layer of Hong Meng Tianjing, dealing with the 5th layer of Hong Meng Yuanjie would indeed be this simple. However, this was the person Jian Shisan and the others had chosen to hold him back. It was so easy to kill him. Yes, this was too strange, wasn't it? Therefore, Shifeng watched as the dust on the ground dissipated, but he still had no intention of helping his subordinates. To ensure that nothing went wrong. Today's rebellion, for Shifeng, was one of the most troublesome things he had encountered in the hundreds of years of fighting in the Zone of Desolation. Fortunately, given Shifeng's strength, it was still an easy task for him to deal with this rebellion. However, even under such circumstances, Shifeng still needed to ensure his absolute safety. He could not afford to make even the slightest mistake. The higher the realm, the less likely it was to die, and the more afraid of death. The dust that filled the sky scattered in all directions. Shifeng furrowed his brows and focused his mind on the dilapidated hillside. Soon, perhaps to satisfy Shifeng's expectations, he found the person who was able to reach the 5th layer of Hong Meng Yuanjie. However, when he saw this person, Shifeng's mood immediately became tense again. Who was this person? How could he, with the strength of the 5th layer of Hong Meng Yuanjie, block one of his attacks? Long Chun patted the dust off his body and his figure once again floated in the air. The aura of Hong Meng around him was directly released, and the heavenly dragon's strength had already begun to circulate. Looking at the slightly stunned Shifeng, Long Chun smiled and said, "What, is the attack of the 7th layer of Hong Meng Tianjing really so weak? There's no need to test me. If I dare to face you here, I naturally have a trump card. Don't be so secretive. If you have the ability, use your trump card. Consider it an eye-opener for me." Compared to letting Shifeng attack with all his strength, Long Chen, of course, was more inclined to drag things out with Shifeng. However, Long Chen knew that Shifeng was not a fool. If Long Chen silently dragged Shifeng out like this, Shifeng might not even fight at all. He would immediately go and help his subordinate. Therefore, Long Chen's words were nothing more than to give Shifeng an impression that he would be difficult to deal with, and that he had a great trump card, so that Shifeng would have no choice but to take him seriously. In this way, Jian Shisan and the others would have more time to deal with their current opponent. When Jian Shisan and the others succeeded, Long Chen would be free. Chapter 1920. Who the hell are you? Shifeng was a little shocked. Long Chen smiled and said, "Right now, I'm your enemy." Perhaps Long Chen's unruly temperament made Shifeng a little angry. Next, the Hong Meng energy around Shifeng slowly condensed. It seemed that he was preparing for the next attack. This time around, Long Chen naturally had to be fully prepared. Previously, Shifeng had only casually attacked him. Although Long Chen had managed to successfully block the attack in a hurry and prevented the attack from harming his foundation, Long Chen had still managed to block the attack. With Long Chen's current strength, he could not withstand the next, or perhaps even more powerful, attack. Therefore, before Shifeng made a move the next time, Long Chen must be fully prepared. As Hong Meng Qi gradually gathered around his body, Long Chen no longer planned to keep the heavenly dragon's power as a last resort. After all, if he was not careful when fighting against an expert like Shifeng, it was very likely that he would not be able to use any of his trump cards no matter how many he had. Long Chen circulated the energy around his body and directly released the heavenly dragon power. The area covered by the heavenly dragon power coincidentally wrapped around Long Chen and Shifeng. Shifeng's expression suddenly turned solemn when he sensed the bloodline pressure that had suddenly appeared. He hurriedly said, "The power of the Dragon Clan's bloodline?" Seeing Shifeng's intense reaction, Long Chen knew that his method had worked. He immediately replied, "How is it? Is it much stronger than the dragon clan bloodline power in your body?" Shi Feng's body was suppressed by the heavenly dragon force, which slowed down the speed of condensing Hong Meng. Heavenly dragon force? Not bad, this is indeed a little beyond my expectations. You must have relied on this force to help the construction division break the bloodline suppression seal I used, right? Shi Feng said with a gloomy face. That's right. Long Chen nodded. He was a little shocked that Shi Feng could immediately say that the source of his Dragon Clan bloodline power was the Heavenly Dragon Force. However, at this time, Long Chen could not reveal this emotion. Nian forced himself to calm down and said, "When you use this force, your bloodline suppression seal will be broken." Shi Feng nodded and said, "I was wondering why they dared to let you stall me. So it was because of this Heavenly Dragon Force?" After saying this, before Long Chen could respond, Shi Feng changed the topic and said again, "But I'm sorry to tell you that the bloodline suppression between the Dragon Clan is almost useless above the 5th level of Hong Meng Tianjing." As soon as he said this, a wave of panic appeared in Long Chen's heart. This Shi Feng spoke in all seriousness, and it did not seem like he was lying. But at this time Long Chen could not care less. Even if the power of the Heavenly Dragon was useless against Shi Feng, Long Chen had to continue circulating it. He absolutely could not lose the slightest bit of momentum that was related to him. At the same time, Long Chen operated the Hong Meng spiritual energy, and the meridians in his body were unobstructed. The Heaven and Earth Flame Dragon art was activated, and the Flame Dragon shadow was born in Long Chen's meridians. Then, 9 flame dragons swept out at the same time and directly supported the dragon halberd in Long Chen's hand. In this kind of unfair battle, Long Chen must not be careless. The flame dragon shadow condensed in midair. Long Chen waved the dragon halberd in his hand, and a brilliant sun was directly ignited behind him. Just like that, Shi Feng quietly watched as Long Chen revealed his techniques one by one. His expression remained unmoved. It was only when the flame dragon shadow condensed by Long Chen's Heaven and Earth Flame Dragon art touched the brilliant sun that Shi Feng's eyes revealed a rich color. Heavenly Dragon art? Heaven and Earth Flame Dragon art? Shi Feng was inexplicably surprised, and said, "I have to say, your means are indeed a little interesting. Could it be that you have been to the Long Meng Utopia?" Long Chen immediately agreed, "Of course I have. Otherwise, how do you think I learned this spell that only the Dragon Clan can practice?" Under such circumstances, as long as he could divert Shi Feng's attention, Long Chen did not care about anything else. Hearing this, Shi Feng immediately became interested and quickly said, "Why don't we make a deal?" Seeing that Shi Feng had fallen for his trick, Long Chen immediately smiled and said, "What kind of deal do you want?" In the distance, the battle between Jian Shisan and the others became more and more intense. From time to time, the sound of Hong Meng exploding would resound in Long Chen's ears, but Shi Feng did not care at all, as if these things had nothing to do with him. Shi Feng said in all seriousness, "If you tell me the way to go to the Long Meng Utopia, we might not have to fight today." Long Chen slowly shook his head and said, "I'm afraid this will be a little difficult. When I left the Long Meng Utopia, those true dragons repeatedly warned me not to tell anyone the way to go to the Long Meng Utopia, and I agreed." After hearing Long Chen's words, Shi Feng's eyes became even more blazing, and he continued, "If you tell me, I am willing to share the Great Desolation Fort with you." Long Chen laughed in his heart. It had to be said that Shi Feng was really interested in the Long Meng Utopia. The Great Desolation Fort was a place that made a lot of money every day, yet he was willing to share it with Long Chen. Only Shi Feng could say that. However, Long Chen was also very clear in his heart that Shi Feng's words were just empty words. Thinking of such a shrewd person like Shi Feng, wanting to obtain benefits from him was really more difficult than ascending to the heavens. Now, being able to chat with Shifeng like this was a good thing for Longchen. After all, it was much easier to keep Shifeng busy in this way than to fight a horrifying battle between Longchen and Shifeng. Longchen said leisurely, "I'm afraid even half of the Great Desolation Fort wouldn't be able to compare to a tenth of the benefits you can obtain in the Longmeng Utopia." Longchen's actions of loosening the reins only to grasp them better made Shifeng firmly believe that Longchen had really been to the Longmeng Utopia in the past. Shifeng smiled and said, "I've been muddle-headed. I almost forgot that so long as I kill you and use the soul-searching technique, what secrets do you have that I can't find out? Kid, you're still too young to go against me." As soon as he finished speaking, Longchen suddenly felt a strand of pressure. He thought to himself, "We were having a good chat, and we can discuss it again if the conditions aren't right. Even if you're willing to use the soul-searching technique, I'm not willing to let you use it." Longchen shrugged and said, "All right, since you don't want to do this deal, then let's not do it. In any case, the two of us aren't on the same side." Shifeng laughed coldly when he heard this, and then he said, "How about it? I've let you earn so much for nothing. You definitely feel that your chances of winning have increased a little, right?" Chapter 1921. After saying this, Shifeng smiled playfully at Longchen. Almost at the same time, the aura of Hong Meng around Shifeng suddenly surged, and the world between him and Longchen began to shake violently. The brilliant divine power gathered the wind and clouds, and the cage of heaven and earth pressed down in all directions. Feeling the powerful aura of Hong Meng that suddenly came head-on, Longchen once again condensed the qi around his body. The brilliant sun behind him emitted an even more vigorous qi of essence, forcibly stabilizing Longchen's body in this world form. Until now, it was becoming more and more difficult for Longchen to see through this Shifeng. Shifeng was different from the opponents that Longchen had encountered before. There was a strong aura of ambition on Shifeng's body. This aura, coupled with Shifeng's Hong Meng Tianjing's Overlord's majesty, was naturally enough to make Longchen feel intimidated. Longchen felt a sense of fear. The Hong Meng pressure that Shifeng had condensed around him actually suppressed the power of the Sky Dragon that Longchen had released before. In this way, the only advantage that Longchen felt before fighting Shifeng was gone. It no longer existed. Jian Shisan and the others were fighting separately. Although in Longchen's view, whether it was Jian Shisan, Xiang Yan, or Bao Yang, they had already gained the upper hand in their respective battles, it was still not easy to get rid of the opponents of Hong Meng Tianjing in a short time. It was not that easy. What's more, Jian Shisan and the others' opponents had probably seen through Longchen's plan and would definitely drag on their battle. In this way, this battle would take Longchen even longer. However, Longchen still knew nothing about Shifeng's method. Shifeng's Hong Meng aura alone was enough to make Longchen feel a little overwhelmed. How could he drag on? It was not easy to find a topic that could distract Shifeng, but it was seen through by Shifeng. At this moment, Longchen was really nervous. Drag on. Longchen also smiled and said, "Perhaps you think that I, a person of the 5th level of Hong Meng Yuanjie, am not worthy of being your opponent, but let me tell you, my goal is to defeat you." At this moment, even if the opponent's aura was strong, Longchen could not show weakness. Shifeng's expression was stern as he said, "In fact, after you removed the bloodline suppression curse on them, you directly left the surroundings of the Great Desolation Castle. I could not do anything about it. However, your mistake was to mistakenly think that I could only control them with the bloodline suppression curse. You underestimated my strength too much. Above Hong Meng Tianjing, the gap between each level is like a chasm. The strength of the 7th level of Hong Meng Tianjing is enough to destroy all of you present. And you, a human boy of the Hong Meng Yuanjie, dare to be so arrogant in front of me?" Long Chen felt a cold wind blowing on his back. The Hong Meng aura between heaven and earth was getting stronger and stronger. Even if Long Chen tried his best to control it, he could not exert the power of the 9 fire dragons and the fire dragon phantoms to the extreme. This kind of suppression was purely a bombardment of Hong Meng Qi. In silence, Long Chen's strength was consumed by more than half. Long Chen forcibly maintained his strength and said, "Shi Feng, you really don't want to go to the Long Meng paradise?" Shi Feng smiled and said, "There are some things that I have never mentioned to anyone else. Even if someone knew about it in the past, that person is no longer alive. This matter is the greatest secret of my life. Seeing as you are about to die, I will not reveal it to you. Since you are dying, there is no harm in telling you. I've been to the Dragon Meng Grotto Heaven more than 1,000 years ago. Otherwise, do you think I was lucky enough to become the castellan of the Great Desolation Castle?" When his voice fell, Long Chen could no longer conceal the shock in his expression. Shi Feng had been to the Long Meng paradise? That was to say, he could learn the way to go to the Long Meng paradise from Shi Feng. However, if he wanted Shi Feng to say it so bluntly, it would be as difficult as ascending to the heavens. Long Chen gathered his aura bit by bit, allowing the fire dragon phantoms to radiate a new layer of vitality. The brilliant sun behind him also grew bit by bit. Long Chen was waiting for an opportunity. Although he was not confident that he could defeat Shi Feng in one move, as long as he could slow down Shi Feng's attack and give Jian Shisan and the others more time, Long Chen would have profited. "Even so, you were lucky to be able to go to the Long Meng paradise back then," Long Chen said slowly. Shi Feng ignored him and turned to look at the surroundings. He looked at the 3 battlefields not far away from him. Jian Shisan's side had completely gained the upper hand. The one who had the greatest advantage was Jian Shisan with a long sword. The deputy fort lord who was fighting Jian Shisan was already bleeding from the corner of his mouth. Hong Meng's aura around him was in a mess. Xiang Yan was still fighting fiercely. Although he had gained the upper hand, it seemed that it would be difficult to determine the victor in a short period of time. After all, in the Hong Meng firmament realm, as long as one did not want to die, no one would be able to suppress a Hong Meng firmament realm expert within a short period of time, unless the other party was Hong Meng Tao ancestor himself. The battle between Bao Yang and Lang Ming was a little funny compared to the previous 2 battles. Lang Ming didn't have a head-on confrontation with Bao Yang at all. He was trying his best to avoid the battle. As long as he could seize the opportunity to dodge, he would never counterattack. Naturally, this gave Bao Yang a headache. Finally, it was Long Chen and Shi Feng's side. After such a long delay, the 2 really did not fight. It was purely Hong Meng suppression, mostly probing each other. When Long Chen saw that Shi Feng was engrossed in the battle between Jian Shisan and the deputy fort lord, his mind suddenly moved. The hunter had found the best opportunity. The brilliant sun behind Long Chen suddenly bloomed. The 9 fire dragons roared together, and the fire dragon shadow in front of Long Chen swept out. Even in this space that was firmly suppressed and controlled by Shi Feng, Long Chen was still able to radiate such a vast aura by circulating the heaven and earth flame dragon skill. This was enough to prove the strength of the heaven and earth flame dragon skill. As the fire dragon shadow rushed forward, it immediately scattered several fierce Hong Meng auras in the air. The endless Hong Meng surged, and an earth-shattering collision seemed to be about to happen in the next moment. Shi Feng abruptly turned around and smiled faintly at the majestic flame dragon. Perhaps Shi Feng really had a trace of curiosity towards Long Chen. Chapter 1922. In the blink of an eye, just as the flame dragon was about to hit Shi Feng, a layer of Hong Meng power that seemed to cut through space suddenly rolled out in front of Shi Feng. For a moment, the world changed color. The churning black clouds around Shi Feng completely collapsed at this moment. They swiftly transformed into an air wave that was visible to the naked eye and directly blocked the path of the fire dragon illusory figure and the 9 fire dragons around it. Boom! A huge collision sound resounded in the air, and the wind and clouds around the world changed. The flame dragon's shadow suddenly shattered, and no one could clearly see how the 9 flame dragons disappeared. Before Long Chen could react, in the midst of the waves of air, an extremely dense mass of Hong Meng Qi swept out, rushing towards his position. It was pure primordial energy, without the slightest bit of extravagance. A casual attack of the 7th layer of Hong Meng Tianjing, for Long Chen, was already close to a fatal blow. Before the Hong Meng Qi bombarded him, Long Chen was first forced back by the backlash of the Heaven and Earth Flame Dragon art. Coupled with the near-destructive suppression of the Hong Meng Qi around him, Long Chen's face was already extremely pale. Even holding the dragon halberd consumed a great deal of Long Chen's mental strength, not to mention facing the incoming Hong Meng Qi attack. At this time, Long Chen's surroundings suddenly emitted a burst of pure power that was extremely intimidating. Through the layers of barriers, Long Chen could clearly perceive that it was the dragon clan blood that belonged to the true dragon pearl in Jian Shisan's sword. The power of veins. It seemed that the battle between Jian Shisan and the deputy fort lord had already reached its end. Otherwise, Jian Shisan would not have used this trump card. The suppression of the dragon clan bloodline was the strongest. It seemed that Jian Shisan already had a chance. As Long Chen turned around, between the layers of black clouds, he caught a glimpse of the frowning Shifeng. A moment later, Long Chen's heart was stirred. Why was Shifeng frowning? The first time he saw Shifeng frowning was when he released the power of the Sky Dragon. Why was it now? Could it be because of the Dragon Clan bloodline power contained in the true Dragon Pearl released by Jian Shisan? A light flashed in Long Chen's mind, and Long Chen suddenly understood. Why did Shifeng clearly know that Long Chen was trying to delay him, and that he had been to Long Chen's paradise, but still wanted to negotiate with him? Was it just to make Long Chen feel inferior? Obviously not. When Long Chen saw Shifeng frowning from afar because Jian Shisan had released the power of the Dragon Clan bloodline in the longsword, Long Chen came to a realization. The power of the Sky Dragon bloodline that he had released before was very effective against Shifeng's suppression, or it could be said that it played a key role. However, after a short period of suppression, Shifeng returned to normal and chatted with Long Chen. What he wanted to do was nothing more than to reduce Long Chen's trust in his Sky Dragon bloodline power, thinking that this kind of suppression was useless. It was just that the power did not work on him. Long Chen still remembered what Shifeng had said before. The bloodline suppression between the Dragon Clan had no effect on cultivators above the 5th layer of Hong Meng Tianjing. Since it didn't work, why did you put on a suppressed expression? Thinking of this, Long Chen finally reacted. The bloodline suppression between the Dragon Clan had an effect on Shifeng in front of him. What he had done before was nothing more than to prevent Long Chen from using this trump card. However, even though Shifeng had done it perfectly, the suppressed expression that he could not help but reveal was still a mistake. After thinking through this matter, Long Chen could no longer care about anything else. Putting away the dragon halberd, Long Chen used all his strength to circulate the power of the Sky Dragon bloodline in his body. Towering under the heavens, the Sky Dragon reigned supreme. The rich and fierce heavenly dragon bloodline filled the entire space. The powerful pressure accompanied the lion wind's primordial qi as it danced down from the sky and covered the earth. Shifeng could not help but clench his fist. The primordial energy, which seemed to have been casually formed, instantly weakened by a lot. Seeing this scene, Long Chen could not help but smile. Between the Dragon Clan, they did not care about the level of Hong Meng Tianjing. As long as it was not the Hong Meng Dao ancestor, in front of a bloodline stronger than yours, they had to bow down. The power of the Sky Dragon was naturally much stronger than the power of the Dragon Clan bloodline in Shifeng's body. The Hong Meng Qi collided with Long Chen's body, but it did not make much of a sound. Long Chen was only pushed back a few feet before he stopped. The power of the sky dragon that pervaded this space became more and more intense. Shi Feng frowned and said sternly, "So what if you can suppress me with just the power of the dragon clan bloodline? Let me tell you, even if I am suppressed, I can still let you die a quick death." Long Chen smiled, and a huge shadow of a sky dragon gradually gathered behind him. "Do you think I will still believe your words? How about it? Do you think you have successfully deceived me and have the situation in your hands?" Long Chen imitated Shi Feng's tone and shouted coldly. Shi Feng's face was sullen as he said, "It seems that I have underestimated you, but don't be complacent. It is nothing more than the suppression of the Dragon Clan bloodline." "Do you really think I have no other way?" As his voice fell, before Shi Feng could react, a violent Hong Meng explosion suddenly sounded in the surrounding space. When the sword Qi, which was released at the same time as the Hong Meng explosion, broke through the barrier around Long Chen and pressed down on Shi Feng's expression was one of pain. Shi Feng's expression was even more pained. This was the power of the Dragon Clan bloodline that originated from the true Dragon Pearl, which was purer than the power of the Sky Dragon in Long Chen's body. It should be known that when Jian Shisan demonstrated to Long Chen at Heavenly Sun Mountain, even Long Chen, who possessed the Sky Dragon bloodline, felt a huge pressure. In other words, the oppressive power of the true Dragon Pearl was stronger than Long Chen's Sky Dragon power. Long Chen turned around and saw Jian Shisan, who was holding a long sword, suspended in midair in the surrounding space. The sword Qi around him seemed to have condensed into a solid form, and he was constantly exuding a fiendish power from inside out. Below Jian Shisan, a dragon lion that had revealed its true body was lying on the ground. It looked like it was dead. Apart from the Hong Meng Dao ancestor, there were very few people who could kill a Hong Meng Tianjing expert. Shi Feng naturally saw this scene as well, and his expression was unusually shocked. Dragon Pearl? Shi Feng was a little shocked as he looked at Jian Shisan's long sword. After a long while, Shi Feng roared at Jian Shisan, "You actually hid it for so many years?" You're tuning in to the Phoenix Knights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.